It. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to the worldwide family. Peaceful Sabbath day, y'all, as we get about our Abba's business. Y'all know how we do it. We turn toward Holy Jerusalem, as recorded in 1 Kings 8th chapter, Isaiah 2nd chapter, Daniel chapter 6 verse 10. Also, y'all, men are to uncover, women are to cover their head when praying or prophesying within the assembly. That's 1 Corinthians 11, Numbers 30th chapter. So we have our direction and our orders. We'll get this prayer on, get this class going.
All right, family. We're going to get this opening prayer. And it is with the Most High's permission. Yes. And is in the name of His only begotten and beloved Son.
Yes, sir.
Our Lord and Savior. He's also our Redeemer.
Yes.
He is Yahushua HaMashiach.
Yes.
But we know Him as Jesus the Christ.
Yes,
y'all.
sir.
Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms.
Yes.
In the 44th chapter, it reads, "We have heard with our ears, O Yah. Our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old, how thou didst drive out the heathen with thy hand,
Yes, sir.
and plantest them, how thou didst afflict the people and cast them out.
Yes.
For they got not the land in possession by their own sword, neither did their own arm save them,
Yes,
but thy right hand, and thine arm, and the light of thy countenance, because thou hadst a favor unto them. Thou art my King, O Yahweh. Command deliverances for Jacob. Through thee will we push down our enemies. Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us.
Yes, sir.
For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. But thou hast saved us from our enemies, and hast put them to shame that hated us. In Yah we boast all the day long, and praise thy name forever. Selah.
Selah.
But thou hast cast off and put us to shame, and goest not forth with our armies. Thou makest us to turn back from our enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen. Thou sellest thy people for naught, and dost not increase thy wealth by their price. Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbor, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. My confusion is continually before me, and the shame of my face hath covered me. For the voice of him that reproacheth and blasphemeth by reason of the enemy and avenger. All this is come upon us, yet have we not forgotten thee, neither have we dealt falsely in thy covenant. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from thy way. Thou though hast sore broken us in the place of dragons, and covered us with the shadow of death. If we have forgotten the name of our Elohim, or stretched out our hands to a strange God, shall not Yah search this out? For he knoweth the secrets of the heart. Yea, for thy sake are we killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Awake! Why sleepest thou, O Yahweh? Arise! Cast us not off forever. Wherefore hidest thou thy face, and forgettest our affliction and our oppression? For our soul is bowed down to the dust. Our belly cleaveth unto the earth. Arise for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake. Hallelujah! Yah! Say what?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What song is that?
44.
Come on in, y'all. Come on in.
Shalom, neighbor.
Great. I'll probably get further back where you could right in front of the thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Right on, bro, right on.
We'll do. Okay. All right. Once again, y'all, Shabbat Shalom. Everybody that's attending. Just kind of, Brother Dre asked me just kind of go over the rules again for the assembly, y'all, and this is for the assembly. So when we meet as an assembly, it's just everything must be in order so that we all stay in one order, one body, one bread. So we read from 1 Corinthians 11th chapter, and it tells us the Father is the head of Christ, Christ is the head of man, man is the head of woman. So there's a hierarchy as far as how you present yourselves in the assembly. Men are to uncover their head in the assembly, and women are to cover their head when in the assembly when praying or prophesying. So we want to get that clear, but as you read down in that 1 Corinthians 11, it kind of explains something about the woman's hair. And it says her hair is given to her for a covering as well. So on the physical side, a woman's hair is a covering if it's not cut off, so to speak, bald or whatever. But her husband is her covering as well. You know, if she's not covered at the time, her husband is her covering. But to speak out, and the scriptures expressly stating that if you praying or prophesying. So that's the key words right there. There must be order so everybody is on the same page. You know, it's different from like circle prayer, because you can have a Muslim in there, you can have a Buddhist in there, everybody holding hands. That's a form of gumbo. So, you know, the Bible is not the author of confusion. It's about righteousness and the word of truth. So we have to make sure that when we deliver the word, we're on one path. We're on one mindset. So, you know, go ahead, sis.
Why is it that men have to uncover their head? Quote unquote. That's the question.
Well, the question is because Christ is the head of man. So it's a respectful order within the hierarchy. Because if you cover up, then that means you're the covering of the assembly. So it's like custom, so to speak, though. But most of it is spiritual. You even if you have a hat on and you take it off and you don't understand this word is spiritual, then you just got your hat off. You understand what I'm saying? If a woman don't understand this spiritual and the hierarchy of how it goes, then she just have her hat on, you know, and it's just, and then it becomes just repetition to you. You know, I'm supposed to do this, but with all you're getting, you have to get understanding. So you need to know why you're doing a certain thing versus just following the crowd. And the Bible is the instruction manual. It's the life instruction manual. So it's going to detail it for you so there was no misunderstanding. But we'll go to that 1 Corinthians 11 before we get in our topic at hand, which is the daily bread of Yah. And what we're going to talk about today, we read the Lord's Prayer, and it talks about give us our daily bread. So we need to understand what that means and why do we need it daily. But what you had over there, Tuba?
You already can go to it, 1 Corinthians 11.
Yeah, we're gonna hit it real quick, and then we'll get to our subject matter at hand. But first, just wanna shalom, Mister. Y'all need some help out there?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to send our prayers and blessings again to the house of Uriah and Hananiah.
Yes, sir.
Judah Matthias, his mom, got a birthday coming up as well.
Yep.
But she'll be leaving the hospital. All praises.
All praises.
Sister Miss Judah is is out, so to speak, of that situation we'll talk about. So Miss Judah's out. And she says, thank y'all to all the family that assisted with that. Well, send shouts out to that King Josiah down there in Florida. Y'all know who we talking about. And happy Soul Day to Brother Ariel. Yes, sir. He's a young man. What's he about, 23 out here? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also, just want to send out a happy Soul Day to my wife as well, Sister Zipporah. Her Soul Day is actually tomorrow. So with that, y'all, we'll get right to that question at hand. So we'll go to 1 Corinthians 11. And if we start, Shalom, John. You all right, boy? Okay. Back, yeah. So we'll go to 1 Corinthians and we'll get the understanding that everything is always spiritual first, y'all. Because if we don't look at it there first and go to flesh, then y'all, this will be just like a robot type of understanding. Shabbat shalom, tomorrow. Uh-oh. Okay. No problem. 1 Corinthians 11, y'all. Let's get there. We'll get a little bit of understanding. We're going to read down into that.
Before we start,
Yes, sir.
giving all praise to the Most High, known as the God and Son. About a year ago, I'm gonna tell on myself. About a year ago, I had was honor and the order of prayer.
Right.
And then I had some stuff happening in my life, like the devil was on me. I know I'm doing the commandments and the laws, but the devil was on me so heavy.
Yeah.
I could detect him coming before he comes.
That's right.
So I said, well, I'm gonna have to do, you know how we set apart Hebrews?
Yeah.
We do a self-check.
Yeah.
So I did a self-check, man, and come to find out I wasn't ordering the order of prayer. And I had a flank open. What? And he was on me, man.
Or was he coming in through the back door?
He was coming in the back and the front, all doors. So I immediately got on it, man. You know where to find me at now. I be in prayer closet.
Yes, sir.
And immediately he stopped. He got away from me. Immediately.
Yeah.
He was attacking my finances.
Yeah.
He was attacking my finances like ever before. Now he got off me, right?
Yeah.
And I thank God for that. You know what I mean? But what I really want to say is, I had that was a spiritual attack.
Right.
Now physically he attacked my body, and I was like having a party going on in my stomach.
Right.
You know, every time I eat, I have a party going on in my stomach. I couldn't pray. I couldn't lay down and do the sackcloth and ashes because my stomach. You know what I mean? I'm talking to the Most High. I couldn't get in the prayer closet. I wasn't feeling good sometimes.
Right.
And so I had even more barb and the rib to help me out. You know what I mean? I could have died. I had a bunch of mucus spitting up before an hour and all of that. Belching and all that, and all kind of stomach problems.
Yes, sir.
And I had even more barb, and then the rib was helping me, you know what I mean, with the supplements, you know, to keep me from dying. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And then I made a joke with the rib, and I told her, I don't know if you better or the Most High better treat me. You know, get a trick on it. Boy, she turned around like the ventriloquist, man. Then don't you put me in there with the Most High like that.
Straighten you out, man.
But then your rib is supposed to be there for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I ended up calling Levi. Man, Levi told me, man, to get my immune system right.
Right.
And he told me the 10 vitamins, the iron, the zinc, and all the 10 vitamins. You know what I mean? We all get new cells every 3 months.
Yeah.
And boy, them 3 months was up 3 months in a week.
Yeah.
All my symptoms went away.
They went away.
All of them. I'm pooping twice a day. 3 times a day.
Too much. You're going too far. But look.
I mean, like a baby, man.
But look, that's the best testimony you can have, because if you eat, you got to do that part too.
Thank you.
And them two prove that you are on your way back to health, because if you can eat and can't do that, then that still be a problem.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Brag on Yah, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yah family.
Very good testimony, bro.
You was full of sugar, honey, iced tea.
Yeah, that's all it was. So y'all, our today's lesson, like we say, the Daily Bread of Yah, but we're going to run to 1 Corinthians 11 just to clear that up real quickly and get some good understanding concerning that. And then we'll understand it from a spiritual nature first. Because everything, you must worship him in what? You can't worship him in your flesh.
Right.
The flesh lusted to envieth against the spirit. So we want to get that straightened out. So if y'all will, whoever got it, 1 Corinthians 11, and let's see where we'll start. I guess start at verse 1, huh?
Yep.
Okay, whoever got it. You, yes, sir. And y'all, we'll get right back to the lesson at hand.
Well, y'all pull that one, okay? It don't matter.
You want me to go ahead and take it? That's what you just said?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Alright. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1.
Yeah.
Right. Alright. Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ.
So right here, the first instruction is being a follower of Christ, not of Paul, because Paul said, I follow Christ.
Right.
So he's setting the order once again that I follow Christ. Christ followed his Father. So we got our order. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
The head of every man is who?
Christ. And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Christ is God. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
So is that physical?
No.
Or is that spiritual? Thanks to it. So that's what it's trying to get you to understand. If Christ is not your spiritual head, you're dishonoring him. If you put anybody between yourself and the Messiah, you're dishonoring your head. There can be nobody in between that. It's like even in a marriage, you have to be extra careful with marriage counsel, because you put somebody in between the man, and the Messiah won't even intervene in a marriage like that, because he sets the order. So you have to be extra careful who you allow to guide the household. You know, a third party, so to speak. The pastor cannot overrule the husband. He can advise the husband, but he cannot overrule. He can give you scriptures, things to help you out, to help you understand Ephesians 5th chapter, where it starts about verse 20 on down. Husbands, love your wives, and then it go into the details of that. Genesis 3 is law. 1 Corinthians 7 is law. So once you get the order, you clearly understand how you're supposed to run your household. So, and then if we're talking singleness, a young woman, her father, if she's still in the house, he's her head. Her father is. So everything must be done lawful. Everything is not expedient, but it is lawful.
Right.
Meaning you may have to have some time to catch up to this to understand it, but it's all lawful. You can't dictate what that means to you. But we'll read a little bit more, get some more understanding. Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head.
So who it said was her head?
Man.
The man. So this is why when we're saying why you have to understand that man was created from God, so to speak, in his image. And he put his soul in it. And then the woman came from the man. So she is flesh of his flesh and bone of his bone. So we have to understand the order is why he's saying that that's basically your creation from you that came from me. So let's keep this structure how it's supposed to go. Let's read some more.
It says, for that is even all one as if she were shaven. For if the woman be not covered, let her be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered.
So it's saying, look, if there is no man and you're covered, then you at least have to represent yourself to the point of so we don't get distracted or it don't get no misunderstanding the teaching order. So you know how the hierarchy runs, and y'all, we're talking assembly talk home. What happens at home or anywhere else is just where we come to meet. There must be an order structure. It has to be order, get out of order. So it's saying let her be shorn, cut her hair off. But it say, well, she technically can't do that because that's a shame for her to cut her hair off like that. So that can't happen. So then it goes on to instruct further. Go ahead. What else to say?
Verse 7.
Yeah.
For a man indeed ought not to cover his head. For as much as he is the image and glory of God.
What is he?
The image and glory of God. But the woman is the glory of the man.
See, this is why we keep going over this again, because it's how the creation went. Sometimes you read Genesis 1:26 and it say he created male and female on the same day. So you're thinking they were created individually, but chapter 2 is an overview of chapter 1 and it breaks it down. Adam was put to sleep and surgery was performed on him. He had a rib removed from his flesh. And then that became flesh of his flesh and bone of his bone, technically, so to speak, the creation that came from him. Now it's going to get clearer of where we're going with this so that it gives a little bit better understanding. Go ahead.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
But the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. So basically what it's saying is, when you talk about which came first, the chicken or the egg, the man came first and then the woman. So if we keep that order like that, no matter what, that order was still before Adam and Eve sinned. That was the hierarchy. It said there was no helpmeet found for Adam. Yes. So that helpmeet had to be created. He just didn't create a woman like he created Adam. No, he took the woman from the man, from his flesh. That's why it says, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, Adam's bone. If you will, somebody grab that second Enoch 30 so we can get some understanding on they're going to break that down. Not now, though, we'll keep rolling, but whoever got that second Enoch 30. And it's going to get into a little bit more detail of what this is saying. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Go ahead, verse 9.
Verse 9. For neither was the man created for the woman.
Read that again.
Neither was the man created for the woman.
See, the woman was created for the man, not the other way around. Once that flips, now you got things out of order in the household or the assembly. So a lot of people say, well, that means a woman can't never teach. No, it ain't never said that. It said there's a structure and a hierarchy in the assembly. The rules tell women what they can teach, just like it tell a man what they can teach. Now there's tag team couples, husband and wife, like Priscilla and Aquila, that went out, but there was no leapfrogging, because we had that issue with way back in the wilderness with Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. Miriam was a prophetess. The Lord was talking through her as well. Aaron was a Levite priest, a high priest, and Moses was the priest or the intercessor of God in the stead till Messiah come. So Miriam and Aaron spoke out against Moses. Aaron was never punished, but Miriam got put out the camp for 7 days because it broke ranks. Even though she was his big sister, it still broke rank. I allowed you to prophesy under orders, not under your own orders, but under orders, because it would have to be explained why she got punished and not Aaron. For speaking, both of them said the same thing to Moses. But if it changed order because she was the big sister, that don't matter in the hierarchy of the household or the hierarchy of the assembly. What you got to do about it?
I had a question, but I'll let you finish this.
Okay, go ahead, bro. Verse 10.
Verse 10 again. No, verse 9. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. Now,
this is the question that drives people crazy. Because of what angels? What does that mean, power over her head? Everything is going back to the beginning. Y'all, that's why the Messiah always say, just go back to the beginning, you'll find all the angels. The angels were the one, and that one angel was in the Garden of Eden named Satan. He asked Eve, what was the instructions? She told him the instructions. We can eat from these trees, we can't eat from this tree, and we can't touch. At that moment, she acknowledged that she knew the hierarchy, the ranking system. But the devil got right to her head and said, oh no, God just don't want you to know all the secrets. He cutting you short. So then at that point, she usurped authority over Adam and taught him the ways of the devil versus the commandments that he was given at first. So now all three of them get punished, but each one for the same crime has a different punishment. And the punishments are laid out by what you transgressed. All the same area, they was all the same thing, but it was what position you played in that crime taking place. So because she ate spiritually fornication from the devil, all her punishments were fornication laced. Pain during childbirth. Women should have had children with no pain. Just pluka.
No hot flash.
No epidurals, none of that. And then also what else they were paying with is multiple conceptions. So twinning came in at a high level. So now you got pain during childbirth. When that one pops out, now you're going to start hollering again a few minutes later. You got pain during childbirth, and that's the closest a woman come to death, is giving life and about to lose hers at the same time. So we have to understand this punishment, because Adam was to guide his household. He says, since you let another covering come in, how I used to take care of you, now you're going to have to take care of her on your own under these circumstances. Now you're going to have to work from the sweat of your brow. You was born into retirement. You could have worked when you got tired, took a day, took time off. But since you did that, now since paradise produced your food, thorns and thistles going to produce your food now. From sun up to sundown, that's your punishment.
Right.
Then we get Satan, because he's supernatural and he can't be put to death physically like Adam and Eve. He had a supernatural punishment put on him. It says, because you done this, you basically attack the innocents. And you cause him to do this. So it says, you're even lower now than you were when we threw you out of heaven. So your punishment will be they eat the dust of the ground. And so when you eat the dust of the ground, it's not literally meaning he turned into a serpent. It's just serpent behavior. It's an individual you can't trust, because you don't know about a snake. You don't know if it's poisonous. It may attack you. It may not. But his mindset was on a serpent type of mindset. But he's still a human individual. He would never turn into a serpent. It's just comparing him to what we consider a serpent. Your belly rubs the ground. That's how low you are. You're lower than a footprint. So that's what happened, and his curse is supernatural. His curse don't come to pass until Isaiah 65:20. When the wolf shall lay down with the lamb, they shall eat straw like the bullock. It say, and then shall the dust be the serpent's meat. And the dust is the residue of everybody that followed him, that's consumed in the lake of fire. That'll be his meal through eternity. So because he was supernatural, his punishment can't come until later. But what he did is he opened up the door for individuals to be attacked by Adam listening to him until the Messiah set it back in order. And he set it straight. Because Satan is our adversary. Satan will never, ever force you to do wrong. Satan, from Genesis to Revelation, has never made anybody turn their back on God. He always asks. He always asks at the beginning, what did God tell you first? And when you tell them, that means you know. Just like when our parents tell you, don't you open that door for nobody. If I hear, I don't care who it is. What if Aunt Bertha come by? What I just say? Don't open the door for nobody. That's what he meant. Now, when Aunt Bertha is in the house, when she get home from work, what's going to happen? See, so that's where we have to get this understanding, y'all. He mean what he say, and he say what he mean. There ain't no in between. Our thoughts are not his. His ways are higher. His thoughts are higher than ours. So he give us instructions so we stay in line with it. But go ahead and read a little bit more to that. We're going to get into that second Enoch. Go ahead.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man in the Lord.
So in the Lord, so this is what we're saying. A man can't survive without a woman. You know, he can't. If he have to, his woman will be the Holy Spirit, so to speak, in his bosom. Shalom, Raphael. What we're talking about, wisdom. So neither is a man without the woman, because you can't be fruitful and multiply with yourself, man. Y'all understand that? You cannot produce seed. I don't care how often Rosie Palm come around. It cannot produce children.
Not Rosie.
Go ahead. What else to say?
Verse 12.
Yeah.
For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman. But all things of God.
See how it keeps coming back there, saying, look, if you want children, you're going to have a woman. You're not going to get a child from a man. So all of this new stuff out here of same-sex gender and all of that, that's actually still a woman. I don't care because she got a beard on. She done took hormone shots, got a beard. She still have ovaries and the things it takes to produce a child. They have not transitioned a human male that was born like that and took those parts out and put in their own parts, and they're able to produce a child. It don't exist. It don't exist, not in the hierarchy of the Most High. And the reason it wants you to always keep things on an even keel and understand is so one person don't get above the other one saying, I don't need you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because once you get there, that's going to be a problem. Then who you going to need? Because Paul says it's good that a man not touch a woman, but if you can't contain, once that door is open, that door is open. Let's get some more of that, bro. And then we're gonna move right to that second that second Enoch. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
Judging yourself. Is it comely that a woman pray unto God uncovered?
So is it comely, meaning is that a good look for a woman to pray uncovered? First, we're talking about spiritually, asking God for that, because if she's not married, then she still has to understand that her father is her covering. So it was a lot of rules, like when it said Miriam was put out the camp for 7 days, and it said, but if her father had spit in her face, we put her out for 7 days. And what that meaning is, if a woman came home pregnant with no husband, Daddy, I'm pregnant in my house. Where's your husband? Right. I ain't got him. What do you mean you don't have him? So a father in this culture would actually spit in his daughter's face and put her out for 7 days to kind of get a handle on this, so she would understand she's defiled her father or technically her husband, which is her father, only in the spiritual sense that he's her protector. He's her provider because she's under his roof. Go ahead. What else to say, bro?
Verse 14.
Yeah.
Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him?
So if a man have, what about nature teach you that a man, if he have long hair, it's a shame unto him? What in nature does that? Just pick out anything. What in nature says that? And we're talking about nature, we're talking about on the base level. What in nature teaching you that if a man have long hair, it's a shame to him? What's going to tell you that on the base level? If you got an afro this big, or you got braids like bro got dreads here, what in nature tells us that, or would tell him that that's a shame? So it's not talking about that. It's talking about spiritually, because the woman's hair is her glory. If that flips, that's a shame for a man to have long hair, because in the base kingdom, even the animal kingdom, the roles never switch between male and female. Because guess what? Judah is named after the tribe of the lion, right? Which of them have the long hair, the woman or the man? Or I should say the male or the female. The male has the mane, don't he? The female is without it. So that can't be what it's talking about. Because even what we name ourselves after would go against this. That would be contradiction. So basically what it's saying, if the hierarchy change, if that hierarchy change, then there's going to be a problem. And you don't see it. The only time you see this in nature is under two type of individual animals or insects, whatever you want to call them. The black widow. She mates with the male and then she kills him. The praying mantis does the same thing. So that would be the only thing in nature telling you that. So if it says if she run it, she's going to cut your head off. Now if you want to run that from nature, that's the only thing we got in nature. But it has nothing to do with physical long hair. Because Absalom, the son of King David, hair weighed 3 to 4 shekels. He pulled it and cut his hair off once a year. Now, if we do the weight of 1 shekel of hair, and his was like 3 times that, then it never said, and Absalom was punished for that large fro similar to Dr. J's. Absalom was punished for long hair. There's no punishment. Samson had long hair, didn't he? Yeah. He couldn't cut his hair. So it can't mean that. The law stipulates everything. Samson was a Nazarite. He was born a Nazarite. Men could take the Nazarite vow in Numbers 6 chapter and they would let their hair grow. If that meant men couldn't have long hair, then you got to get rid of the Nazarite vow. And that's just not going to happen, because then you're going against law. So let's read a little bit more than that.
Verse 15.
Okay.
But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her. For her hair is given her for a covering.
So if it's saying that's her glory, her hair, so to speak, it's saying it's given to her for that reason. But the part we wanted to explain was the angels. So what happened? Why does it keep bringing up the angels? Because in Genesis 6 chapter, when the sons of God, who were watchers, who were supposed to watch over Adam and Eve, saw the women in control of all the men and the husband running around at the time, they took them as wives from their husbands. That's why I keep going back to that. So they were punished for that, for pulling that behavior, because it caused chaos in the world that the world had to end. So I want to hit some that 1 Corinthians 12 too when we get there. So we get a good understanding of that. So it keeps going back to what happened in the beginning. That happened in the beginning before the flood. And now we're still mentioning it. Paul is mentioning it in 1 Corinthians. So he wants you to understand that all this took place in the Garden of Eden. And that's what he say, Hosea 10:13. He said, you have eaten the fruit of lies. You understand what we're saying? So Eve ate instructions from another man. So you cannot come home to your husband and say, well, the pastor say this is what we need to do. Right. That's the wrong order. Then you're putting somebody in between your husband and Christ. You're usurping authority, and then we fall into Jezebel mode, who usurped authority over King Ahab. She had her own set of prophets. She took rule and she ruled over him, and he was the head of the whole nation of Israel at the time. So that created a lot of problems, and they end up having to put her down. But it also caused Ahab, all of his children, to suffer behind that. So y'all, it's just hierarchy. It's the rank and file, and it cannot be changed because we're running out of men in the church. Got to go find one, dust him off, clean him up, and bring him back into the assembly and let him sit where he's supposed to be. Because yes, Martha and Mary was around, but Martha and Mary were never part of that 12, ever. And when he said, no, you're not, these 12 disciples going to sit on 12 tribes judging the tribes of Israel, he didn't put a woman in there, even though constantly women were around Christ. He explains it in Romans 16th chapter. He say, this sister is outstanding in the assembly. Whatever she say, you do it for her. That don't mean if she say, I want to teach the class. No, because the rules are still set. She's therefore a support system to make sure everything runs smooth, because she's the weaker vessel. When you put the weaker vessel in charge, what's going to happen? If you put your children in charge of your household while you sleep, and Ray them come beating on the door, Junior, get up and go see what that is. And Junior got on SpongeBob pajamas. He shouldn't be answering the door. Would you do that? You wouldn't put it out of order, nor would you send her to the door to go see who that is. Ray Ray and Do Dirty them out there, baby, that's them out there. You gonna send her to the door? So y'all, we have to understand it never said a woman couldn't teach, because there's certain things you have to deal with. I suffer. He said, but this is what they can't do. Usurp authority.
That's it.
And that means shut the hell up, man. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm talking about like Aunt Esther, how she do Woodrow on Sanford and Son. That's what it's speaking of. If that happens, it's going to be problems, because now you put the weaker in charge of the stronger. It's just not going to work under no circumstances, because if a manly come up and slap fire from a woman's face, then she's going to give him his tools back and say, defend me. Here,
But
you can
can't
wear
beat
them now.
You can't beat her.
Right. Look here, yeah. But look, go ahead, John.
If it ain't in order, it's out of order.
It's
That's it.
absolutely, bro. Go ahead, bro. Where you at now, Nat?
I was done with that.
No, you verse 16. I'll read it, verse 16. But if any man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom, neither the churches of Yah. So if anybody's arguing with this, we're not going to get into an argument with you. We just explain the rules of the assembly. If this don't agree with you, as freely as you came in, you can freely leave. We're not going to force anything on anybody, but we have to be in order so that we don't have confusion. Confusion interrupts learning. So the only rule book we have is by the Most High. Now, if you go by the HR rules at your job, then this shouldn't be hard.
Right.
Because they tell you what you can wear, they tell you how you must behave, and you sign that.
And then they give you a handbook.
And then they give you a handbook to remind you of the rules and the statutes and orders and judgments. And if you don't do it, meet us down here. And they'll hand you a pink slip, and it ain't over in Brooklyn. I'm telling you. Numbers 30. Real quick. Numbers 30, and then we'll hit just 1 Tim 12, and we get to our lesson at hand. I just want to get the order of the household again. Numbers 30. So we explain the spiritual portion of this. And this is why 1 Tim 5 will say, if a man can't take care of a household spiritually, he's worse than an infidel. Because you can't blame her. And the devil always come and ask you, you know, what did God tell you? What we say when we get in trouble? I should have followed my what? Your first mind is the Lord. The second mind is the devil, and it's called doubt. Like Peter had the vision on the rooftop, Peter kill and eat. Not so, my Lord, for nothing unclean has ever entered my mouth. This is after the crucifixion. Years after the crucifixion, and he still ain't eating a diet that's not recorded like he's supposed to eat. And it said, well, God has cleansed, let no man call uncommon. Well, he's not going to break his own laws. And if you get to verse 28 of that same Acts 10, it'll tell you, Peter got to understand that, okay, God is just telling me not to call any man common or unclean. That don't mean I can just eat whatever I feel like. No, I just can't call his creation less than me if they want to worship me. How are we going to do that? Because we know we Israel, what we look like telling the nation, y'all can't worship our God, and they keeping the laws better than us.
Right.
Look, they didn't get thrown out of their land. We did. Numbers 30.
The book of Numbers, chapter 30.
Yeah.
Verse 1.
Yeah.
And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded.
What has the Lord done?
Commanded. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. If a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth.
Now you see how her father is taking control. They say, so if she vow, and what we are talking about is when you vow, you swear to the Lord that I will do right by you. So that's a vow. You can't break that vow. That's why Christ say, don't swear unless you're certain you want to take on that responsibility. When you go to court, They'll give you the same book. Ask you to put your hand on it, swear you gonna tell the truth. If you're not sure how that prosecutor is and he got slick stuff going, you say, I affirm. That means I'm gonna tell you the best of my recollection. And you know what they're gonna say? We'll take affirm. But if you swear and they find you telling a lie, it's called perjury. It's a minimum 5 years for making a vow. They got you to swear. And he's telling you, don't swear unless you're absolutely sure about what you're finna testify to. If you don't, say I affirm. So right here again, the young woman in her father's house, if she vow a vow, go ahead, what else to say?
And her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she hath bound her soul.
Because see, you bound your soul, y'all. This is not just no flesh talk. Right. When you hear these youngsters out here talking, I put that on my mama, I put that on my baby. All that's junk. That's flesh talk. That's just talk to try to fool somebody that you really mean what you lying about. You ain't fooling nobody, but when you vow to the Lord, you're saying, put it on me for eternity. Yeah. You have to understand that. You're saying, put it on me for eternity. And if I break that vow of eternity, then I got a mark on my soul. And on Judgment Day, that mark is going to be brought up on my soul because the flesh ain't going to be at Judgment Day. No. Whatever you were, your soul is in perfect condition. It's perfect. If you got any ailments now in this flesh, you will not be crippled at Judgment Day. If you paralyzed, you're going to be standing up. Because it's going to be your soul. It's perfect. He don't make no imperfect soul. And he's going to judge that perfect soul. It's like people that get their arm cut off. They have what's called that phantom itch. They scratch where there ain't no flesh there no more. That's because their soul is still intact. And they still thinking it's feeling it's right there. So they're scratching at the invisible. But it's gone. Let's get some more. Where you at?
It says, I'm going to start verse 4 over again.
Okay.
And her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she hath bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she hath bound her soul shall stand.
So her father has power to say, if he hear, this the kicker, if he hear her back and back, Lord, I love you so much that I'll be a handmaiden for you for all my life. I'll be the handmaiden of the Lord. And her father hear that and he say, that's a young woman with the right mindset that loves the Lord with all her heart and soul. He like, Lord, let it stand. That vow stands. If he died, that vow still stands. But if he know she just fat-mouthing and heard a few people down the street saying the same thing, he can disavow it right there and say, Lord, she ain't doing nothing but fat-mouthing, and it will not stand. But that's the power of the Father over the household. Now we're going to move through every facet of this. Every woman, the grandmothers or mothers that have to come and live with you, if they're a widow, you're going to go through that too. Go ahead, read a little bit more, bro.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth.
That he do what?
Heareth. Not any of her vows or of her bonds wherewith she hath bound her soul shall stand. And the Lord shall forgive her.
What he gonna do?
Forgive her. Because her father disallowed.
Because her father disallowed in the household. This is why it was so important, y'all. This is why these nations and different things attack us and try to get the household split up. That where there's no father in the house, then we get control of these vows. And we put them behind the 8 ball when we break that household up like that. And there's no father in there to control these vows. Go ahead, read a little bit more.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
And her husband, verse 6. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And if she had at all an husband.
If she had all had what?
An husband. When she vowed or uttered all out of her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband heard it, and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vow shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. So now it moved to, first it was the single woman under her father. Now it moved to a woman that has a husband. If he hear her make a vow, and he be like, no, she way off base with that. If she's saying, Lord, he's slow of speech and
He didn't get out to 3rd grade. And I just think you ought to put me in charge of your word around here. And he hear it. He don't say nothing. If he hear it, that vow gonna stand, but it's gonna cripple him. Because he's allowing a vow to stand that breaks the hierarchy or the rule, household order of the Most High. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. Read a little bit more than that.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
But if her husband disallowed her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul of none effect.
Of what?
None effect.
It won't even count at that point if he hear it. He's like, no, that it won't count. See, and this is what the responsibility you have, that you can't put this off on one. She made me do it. She ain't made you do nothing. Adam, that's what Job said in the 31st chapter of Job. He said, Adam, you hid your transgression in your bosom. You hid in the trees and blamed Eve. You had a part in that. God told you first, and then you told her, and then you listened to her tell you what some other person said. And now we got this problem. How you going to blame her for listening to her? You could have disavowed it right then, but Adam did. He listened. He said, sound good. What you talking about? Sound like we about to have a little fun.
Right.
Let's get some more.
It says, and the Lord shall forgive her. Verse 9.
Yeah.
But every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced.
So now we got a widow, her husband has died, and we got divorce.
Right.
The marriage sets are broke. Now there's rules for that. Don't y'all understand? It's hitting every point. This is the book of life. It deals with every faction of life, so you'll never be able to say, you ain't never walked in my shoes. You don't know what I'm going through. No, the Bible know what you're going through, because ain't nothing uncommon to man. Shalom, sis. Go ahead. Where we at?
It says, wherewith they have bound their souls shall stand against her. And if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound her soul by a bond with an oath, and her husband heard it, and held his peace at her, and disallowed her not, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand.
So this is saying right now, even if she was divorced, if she vowed a vow and her husband heard it and it stand, you can't remarry out of that vow for your soul. You locked in on that. You can't weasel your way out. We'll say that vow was him, I'll weasel out. But we're talking about a vow that you make with your soul woman, that's separately from a man and a woman that makes a vow. This is her individually. That's why I say if a man or a woman make a vow, she was married, but she made an individual vow. If her husband hadn't heard her, it would still stand. He wouldn't know why it's standing, because he didn't hear her. But if he heard her and he let it stand or disallow it, then movement will take place from the Most High. We'll go ahead and read a little bit more of that now. We're going to read on down to the end.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
But if her husband hath utterly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatsoever proceedeth out of her lips concerning her vows, or concerning the bond of her soul.
See how I keep saying the bond of her soul, not her flesh. Go ahead.
Shall not stand. Her husband hath made them void, and the Lord shall forgive her. Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul.
To afflict what?
The soul. Her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void.
Do y'all understand this spiritual power? You overrule her prayers in a sense based off of the commandments of God. That don't mean like some of these camp teachers. If I tell you to jump, you say ha ha. No, none of that foolishness. It's not talking about ruling like you're the grandson of Ike Turner. No, it's not talking about that. Under no circumstance. It's talking about a man that understands the law and the commandments, that he have such a power to move in that direction. No, that's going to create problems for me and you with the Lord if I allow that vow to go through. I'm disavowing that. And it will be disavowed, and he'll forgive her. Go ahead, nerd.
One thing, everybody got to make sure that the man is in Christ first.
That's what we're talking about, is Christ is the head of man. This don't work with no other doctrine. It don't work with Pharisee talk. It don't work with none of that type of talk, because we got a bunch of Israelite groups out here that say every time you lay with a woman, you're married. Then it's impossible to have a whore.
You're trying to do away with fornication.
It's impossible, because everybody would be married. And then if you was a young man and had a little young man activity, you better go back and find all them wives then.
Boy, you just made my head hurt, boy.
Boy, look here. You got a lot of wives out there you got to go account for, and ain't no divorce papers. You understand what I'm saying? So let's get a little bit more. Finish that on out, Nat.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
But if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from day to day, then he establisheth all her vows and all her bonds, which are upon her. He confirmeth them.
What do he do?
Confirmeth them. Because he held his peace at her in the day that he heard them. But if he shall anyways make them void after that he hath heard them, then he shall bear her iniquity.
What he gonna do?
Bear her iniquity.
See, because you'll have men in a position that where they don't want to be wrong for nothing. And she could be having a right vow like Abigail had with Nabal and that situation about King David.
Yep.
See, and when she told him, look, David was here, him and his men, all they wanted was just something to eat. You know, now David used to watch our sheep, him and his men, for free. Right. They protected our sheep. He like, who you talking about? She said, King David. I don't know no nigga named King David. The hell with King David. Bring me a drink. Because he was loaded. Mm-hmm. And she asked David, please, David, don't take, because David said, okay, since he want to play like that, there'll never be another man in this household that pisses against the wall. And that means all of the male men would be cut off, because peeing against the wall is just like you go in the men's bathroom, there's a urinal there. So you technically stand in front of it like you're peeing against the wall. So he said there'll be never a man to do that for what your husband did. We've been helping him off. We kept robbers off of his flock. He's rich because of us. And all we need is just some raisins and some cakes to get through to this next spot. And he treating us like this. She had to go out there and do that vow for him. Now, what she did do is she knew because he was drinking, he wasn't going to hear it. He'd have cussed David out some more. So it says she waited till the next morning until he sobered up, and then she told him. She didn't tell him why he was loaded, because the law said you can't talk to a drunk man. You wasting your time. So she waited till the next morning. She said, David came by here. He was taking your sheep, and you cussed him out when you're drunk, and I'll cuss him out again. And so he fell dead as a stone, had a heart attack and died. So, y'all, every one of these laws we go over, there's an example in the Bible, so you don't have to interpret it yourself. You just go right to the Bible, and it'll say this same situation right here. Go to Abigail and David's situation, and you'll see that situation that we're speaking of. Every law we just went over, there's a spot in the Bible that explains itself. So you won't have to say them brothers down there at the old Sears building said that. No, the Bible says it.
That's right.
Let's read some more. Where we at? Did you finish that, Nat?
Verse 16.
Yeah.
These are the statutes which the Lord commanded Moses between a man and his wife.
Between a what?
Man and his wife. Between the father and his daughter. Being yet in her youth in her father's house.
See, because if a daughter got married, her husband got killed in the war, she had to come back to her father's house. She's still under the gun. What you got over the cash?
So, I was wondering,
give me that first 10 too.
Believe that if you laid with a woman, she became your wife.
Well, like I'm saying that a lot of people got wives at the strip clubs.
Right. And like once I found out that that wasn't the case, I only know of like what I was brought up in through church, whether you get married. But like, what's the actual like lawful way of the order of making a woman your wife? Like, is it you and her bowing to the Most High that y'all are now married?
Well, first, like I say, there's a process with everything. It's called engagement or endowment. A man to find a wife find a good thing, so he's looking, and it's not that he's hunting and saying he finds it. It's technically the woman put herself in position to be found by her, so she's practicing how to be a wife. So that's why I say the man that findeth a wife, she already got the title. and they ain't married yet. So she's moving as a wife. You understand what I'm saying? But he sees she's still a single woman, but she's moving like wife material. So he finds and he asks, and then the next thing is to do, we got to have 2 witnesses. Just in case you moving like this and her still at home. You just acting like, you looking for a husband and her still at home, then that's going to be a problem. So now we got to get 2 witnesses, either your family member and one of his family members, and you let them know, hey, look, we want to get engaged, we want to get married, so we have to let y'all know. And that lets the public know, because all marriage have to be public knowledge. You can't have these private, what they doing now, text message marriages. It just don't exist, bro. You send out a text, hey y'all, everybody, we's married. That don't work. And then the next day, and you got 10 or 11 of them. And what do they call them? The wicked woman. The wicked woman number 3. The wicked woman number 4. But why do you keep shopping at the wicked woman store? That's the problem. When you going to go to the right store and get the right woman? But it ain't. It's just how these camps teach just sex games. It's the only way they can satisfy the young that they in charge of. It's the promises they make to them. You're going to get a woman. And then they end up controlling their marriage. These camps do. They start to dictate who you can marry. No, we saving her for Captain Zabak over here. This is his woman. You can't marry her. And they take control. Basically, all it is a penitentiary doctrine, and they dictating the conjugal visits. It's plain and simple. All of that stuff started in the penitentiary. They learned it from the penitentiary. They found out that they was Israel, and they just pumping it on the street. Everybody you touch, you marry. That's a crime. You ain't even got no dowry. What if your daughter go out and have something with a man and she's married? Where your dowry at for that? That's what men would do. They would also then bring a dowry. I'm able to be her protector because I'm pulling wealth out of the house. She feeds the cattle every day or whatever it may be. She does the cooking. She does this. I can't take work out of the house for free. They're called females. They come with a fee. They're not free males. Make sense? What you got right there?
Sleeping with the women and everything, they say they're alive, right? That's their wives.
Right.
So she don't know that she's married, that that's her husband, and she sleeps with somebody else. Now,
what do you got? But see, that's what I'm saying. It's just a rabbit hole that you can never close up, y'all. It's just that controlled doctrine because they can't offer them anything else because they over them between Christ. They're calling themselves high priests in these camps. Triple high priest this guy, double high priest that guy. What about Christ is the high priest after the order of Melchizedek? It says he's the only high priest. You put another high priest between him and Christ, then you have uncovered your head. You've covered your head. That's what 1 Corinthians 11 is talking about a man. How you going some man come in here that's got sickness and illness like you, and you jump up and you stand at attention. General on deck. You call him high priest, general, this and that, and you won't acknowledge Christ and his priesthood. Then that means you put another covering between the man and Christ. This man is your Messiah.
But I didn't interrupt you, but that's just like, y'all know on the back of my truck, I have Deuteronomy 28, then I have in Hebrew letters, Yod Hey Wah Hey, which is for Yahweh. So I'm coming out of Snooks the other day, and I see this lady behind my truck, and she was writing, I thought she was writing my number down because I have my sign on there because I'm a contractor. And then she was like, no, I see you got these Hebrew letters on here. I thought you might have been my Hebrew brother, they say, that moved out in this neighborhood. And I said, all praises to the Most High, sister. And she said, yeah, all praises to Yahweh ben Yahweh.
Wait a minute.
I said, no, sister, you confused. That's a man, that's a sinner. And he was in a penitentiary, so, his name is Yulon Mitchell. He's not the Messiah.
Right.
So I start breaking off. She looked like I kicked her puppy.
Yes, boy, look here, you did.
But she said she studied under that dude 30 years, and I said, you still ain't learned?
Right.
I say the sun is shining, lady. You telling me that's the Messiah?
Right.
I told him a whole lot of stuff, but she got the hell away from it.
Well, see, y'all, and this is because we let somebody else dictate the Bible. It said the Christ would be born in Bethlehem. This man was born in Enid, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Not only that, he was a Muslim. He was in the United States Air Force. So we need all of them scriptures. And the Messiah should join the Air Force.
Right.
The Messiah shall become a Muslim. We need Shalom Butterfly. We need all of that. You know what I'm saying? To prove that this is the Messiah. You just can't tell it. He got green eyes.
Right.
Senior, a Pentecostal pastor.
Yeah. I told all of that.
So, and you can go down to the library right now and get a book called Brother Love. You'll see him in there sitting in a regal room chair. You know the wicker chairs?
You know about them, don't you?
And yeah, I do. I used to be in the regal room. Boy. Look, I got some photos. Look here. And he's marking out a man name out of his book of life. And it's got a Kmart marker. And he's marking him out of the book of life. And he's standing there trembling. Like this really the Messiah telling him you ain't going to get in the kingdom. And the kingdom is a rehab projects down in Florida. Right. So you think this is what we waiting on for the Messiah to come back when he say I'm going back to prepare a place. Rehab projects? Or like it's the Rockin' Deuces out now. You can see Ruthless on Tyler Perry, BET. It's showing the same thing, a compound. They put a fence around it and you outgrow it overnight. They make up their own rules. They got conjugal visits going on. Yeah. Women over here, men over here. How you going to be separated? The script say, let no man cut asunder. That means no man come into your marriage and cut it asunder. If you say another man told me such, that's a major problem in the household. What you got over there, John?
Me and Nelson going downstairs to help Emma bring some of the food up.
Yeah.
Brother noticed I had a chain on, so he come identify with me, tell me, hey, bro, what's up? He moved Shalom. He said Abraham reincarnated. He Moses reincarnated.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm thinking I could invite him to class or something. No. I said, no, I ain't inviting him to this class.
Look, all you would have had to just ask him, how old was Ishmael when you was, Isaac when you was finna sacrifice? Since you reincarnated, you ought to know that. So how, and see, we just asked some questions because these same camps saying this guy was King David. And I'm like, well, did anybody ask them what Bathsheba really looked like? See, but they don't do that. You just, that's your soul wanting to believe a lie. You know it's a lie. You know this man ain't no reincarnated King David. At least he should show you some slingshot moves or something. But you just believe it because they said you want that other covering over your head. And this is what I'm saying. The laws from Genesis to Revelation have never changed. Murder is still murder. Stealing is still stealing. Adultery is still dealing. Killing is still killing. The laws have never changed. The only thing changed was the priesthood. Right. That's why Paul said in 1 Corinthians 7, he said there's a change in priesthood. So we have to change the law to adapt to the new priest that's in town. Mm-hmm. And there's nobody in between man and this priest. He's the only priest. Right. You call another man high priest or chief this, then you're dishonoring your head. So you better get it out of your head right now. Ain't no triple high priest walking these earths. Right, and if they say your hog belly is the third in command. This man say he the third in command of all heaven and earth. And these niggas believing and following him. General on deck. And then you know, and then he show himself, they follow him around. He go to a restaurant and he's showing off how many chicken wings he could eat in one sitting. Yo, but we want to believe a lie. But this is what the script tell us. If anybody say they are Christ, black, white, green, yellow, and you look up and you see the sun or the moon, if it be at night, he's a liar. Right. It don't matter what he's saying. It don't matter what kind of charlatan move. If you look up and see the sun and the moon, because Christ say, I'm going to knock the sun and the moon out. Right. And then I'll be the light of the world. You're going to know it's me coming because Egyptology worship the sun. Muslims worship the moon. So he said, I'm going to wipe their gods out, what they worship immediately. And let you see who the true God, who the true light is. Because in Genesis 1 and 1 and 2, there's a light there. The sun and the moon weren't created to the fourth day. So what are those 3 days of light before the sun and the moon was created? So if anybody say they God, just do this. How hard is that? That ain't hard, is it?
That's what I told her.
Let's get some more. Where we at? I want to have 110, and y'all, we're going to move on after this. 110. I want 110, chapter 2, verse 12 through verse 10.
What about 11? No?
Yeah, you start about 9.
Yeah, about 9.
Yeah. No, let's since it's saying pray. Verse 8. Yeah. Y'all, and this will clear up everything we talk about, y'all, is going to go right back to the garden. Always going to go back to the beginning. We don't start in the middle with nothing. The Messiah never started at Mount Sinai. So when you hear people say that's under the Old Testament law, that's Moses' law, Moses got these laws from the beginning. Moses ain't wrote no laws. Moses just copied the law down. But everything Moses got was from the beginning. So y'all, we have to understand when somebody tell you that's the Mosaic law, it's the same law. God ain't changed his laws. He just changed his priest and his intercessor between God and man. That ain't hard to understand, is it? And we're going to get right back to this. Real quick, y'all, we're going to hit these last two. And give me that Job 31, you know what I'm talking about, if I hide my transgression. Go ahead. See what this is. These camps teach that so that they can have control over women, and then they're going to have control. They'll have control over your woman. They'll have control over all the women that's in their assembly, and then they'll end up controlling the man. Because if a woman sees her husband, if she see another head come over him, like these triple high priests, that's going to be his woman. What do she need you for? He can tell you when to get up at night, when to move, then that's going to be his woman. And the same Hulan Mitchell guy we talking about, he said what they do is send you on a mission. You got to go find your brethren and stay with him and live with him. And you leave your woman there with him. Right. Well, guess what happened when you come back?
Belly.
Well, we know what happened.
Shoes under the bed.
Boy, some shoes under the bed. Look here.
In the belly.
Big shoe.
In the big belly.
And when you got on some Timberlands and you able to put your shoe inside of his shoe with your shoes on,
it'll never be the same.
You may well start packing.
Let's get this man. Go ahead.
Never be the same. All right, I'll read this one.
Yeah.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 8.
Yeah.
I will therefore that men pray everywhere, lifting up holy hands, without wrath and doubt.
Without wrath or doubt. And when you pray, you cannot have doubt. Well, Lord, just not. I know you work in your own time, but if you just see, no, you can't. You have to say your prayer like you mean. You're talking to your father like it's your earthly dad. Dad, I really need this now. You know how that, because he know what you need before you ask him. And the word is always need. Always need. He don't give you wants. You want wants, then establish yourself. Right. And I'll give you what you want, but I'm automatically going to give you what you need. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with braided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness, with good works.
So now we got an issue right here that where's the line for modest apparel? Is there a law that says a woman should wear a dress that shall be 3 inches below her kneecaps? Her top shall not expose any chest area. It should be like a turtleneck up on her. Is there any laws? See, before you can start regulating and saying that's what she need to wear, modest apparel means that if I go out in public, nobody be calling me saying, hey man, you seen your woman out here? You know how she left the house? It shouldn't be that. There should be no shame. Modest means I'm not going to shame him publicly. Because there's going to be times she's going to leave the house without you.
Right. And they know, I'm sorry, man, and I'm just thinking they know what they looking like because they put them tight clothes on and they turn around. And
If you turn around right.
Look in the mirror.
Right, yeah.
And the man don't recognize it's his wife, and he looking all that and rubbing, touching, then turn around and it is his wife.
Boy, that'd be bad. That really be bad. So both of them are set. But what we're talking about, But look, what we're technically talking about, y'all, when it says modest apparel and braided hair, women wore braids. It's just saying if you fix your hair up, this caused the problem in the garden. It was the hair. So you're gonna draw evil spirits to you. You may draw men that's working an evil spirit towards you.
Right.
They'll see you in the store, and the first thing they do, because the devil always asks, are you married? That's the first thing they're going to ask. If they even see the ring, yes, I'm married. And then the next question is like the devil always do, but are you happy? And what does happy mean? What does happy come down to? If she say, you know what, hell no, I ain't happy because the rent behind, Earl on both car notes. These chillers driving me crazy. Pew! He going down the next aisle. Because all happy mean is, are you sexually happy? That's all it means, which drawing you into fornication.
Right.
Go
They
ahead,
don't
sis.
even go that far. Some of them might bump into you and put their hands on the wrong part. Excuse me. And if the woman don't respond like it's offensive, then it engages.
Well, right, that's what he know. At that point, it should be a phone call made. First to the police.
Right.
I've been assaulted.
Hey, baby, it's like, no, sister.
See, so you have to understand, I've been assaulted. You know, and then you call your husband and his brothers. Right. I've been assaulted up here to save a lot. You know, so we have to keep things in mind because evil spirits are out here and it's coming back again, y'all. So this is why a woman's hair is so important to understanding. Her covering is her glory, but then the glory of the man is the woman. So we have to understand how the hierarchy goes. And she'll respect that publicly out there. You ain't got to chase it like the virtuous woman. It say there's no need of spoil for her husband. He trusts, yeah, she got her own business, she doing that, but he ain't concerned about nobody making a move in on him. Mm-hmm. He's not concerned because if he concerned about that, he can't go to work.
Right.
You know why? Because he gonna be following her. Knew a boy, lunch break was 30 minutes. Took him 40 minutes to get home. And he sit and watch to see who's gonna go to his door for another 40 minutes. Then he got to take them 40 minutes and get back to work, and your lunch break only a half hour. Did it for a couple days, sneaking in through the back door. Finally, the supervisor was standing there. I've been watching you. This the last 2.5 hour lunch break you get. And I say, did you ever see anything come to the door? Nothing but the mailman.
It's him. It's him.
Well, but no, yo, this is what we're talking about. What I'm saying is to the point that where you have to understand if your macking is lacking, then you're gonna have that problem. But you got to have a trust factor because what if you sick and down? She's your helpmate. She got to go get your medicine. What you gonna do? Be falling behind the coffin and call the Uber? I just making sure you picking up the right medicine. She's like, man, go back home and get in the bed. Y'all understand what I'm saying? You have to be able to have some level of trust factor. Without if it ain't like that, it's going anyway. Did we finish that?
You want it to the end?
Yeah, I want to the end.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence.
So the key words in here though is to teach part and to usurp authority. So anyone that's trying to use this to say you better not say nothing, keep your mouth closed, we first need to define an understanding of usurp. And we need to define an understanding of teaching because we're going to have a problem with the other scripture when it says elder women teach the younger women. You're going to have a problem with Acts 19 and 18, Priscilla and Aquila. There's a tag team, husband and wife team that's going out. And it says they told Apollos a better way, showed him a more better way. And that's just a tag team group. Baby, well, you know, what's that scripture, you know, that talks about that? Baby, you want that Isaiah 15. Yeah, Isaiah 15. So he's still getting ahead. She's just feeding him what he needs because, you know, they're a tag team, they out here. But shit, there you go again. Don't never remember nothing. Go over there. Now, what you want to do, man? Flip her. And then that's the problem. That's usurping authority. And what's the example? Jezebel and Ahab, 1 Kings. If you want to see what it means, go there, and then you won't have no misunderstanding what somebody trying to make you misunderstand. Is an example in the Bible. Go ahead. What else to say? Finish that on up.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
For Adam was first formed.
Who was first formed?
Adam was first formed. Then Eve. And Adam was not deceived. But the woman being deceived was the transgression.
Read that again.
Well, and Adam was not deceived. But the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
So she was in the transgression because she got deceived. Satan didn't come to Adam because he knew I couldn't go through the man. I'm always going to go back door. I'm going to the weakest vessel. That's how I get down. And if the weakest vessel was in charge of you, then he got the whole house. Y'all understand that? Is that hard? Let's read a little bit more. Finish that on out.
Verse 15. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue. If they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety.
So why did this go all the way back to childbearing? It started in the garden. That's where it said, faith and charity, she shall be saved in childbearing. If you get both your minds together, children will be born and you won't have no pain. He won't suffer either if it come together in holiness and sobriety. And sobriety don't mean you can't drink, because it's just the Bible, the law is you can't get drunk. But it means sobriety, both consciously understanding what's going on. She shall be saved from her curse in that time of childbearing. One last one, Proverbs 30:20.
Still want to do Job 30.
Yeah, and you got that. Yeah, you got. Hold on, y'all just write these down real quick, but read it real quick. This Job 31 and what?
33.
Just Job 31 and 33. When you read the 31st chapter of Job, we just go into verse 33 for time's sake. Job made a covenant with his eyes. He said, if I look at a woman and the first thing I do is got me and her at a motel, if I look at it like this, he said, I made a covenant with my eyes. They can have my wife, and then he can invite his friends. If I do that. So he made a covenant with his eyes that you can look, but you ain't got the lust. That's why he made beautiful women. You know what I'm saying? So you can look, but don't lust. He said, if I lust after another woman, they can do this. But when you get down to verse 30, what does it say, Nat Turner?
It says, if I covered my transgressions.
If I did
Adam,
what?
Covered my transgressions as Adam. By hiding mine iniquity in my bosom. Did I fear a great multitude, or did the contempt of families terrify me?
See, so he said, if I hide my transgressions in my bosom like Adam, basically blame it on my woman, everything that's happened to me. I'll just blame it on her. He says, so you're hiding your part of you're in charge. You're in control. You understand what I'm saying? You can't hide that. You think you're going to fool the law? That's why Adam said, it's the woman you gave me. He said, yeah, but what did I tell you? Where we at? Is that the last one that we need to get that? Enoch, you? That second Enoch? Anybody get that? Or no?
Which one?
30.
30?
Yeah. Y'all, this is just a writing Enoch, y'all, and then we're going to move on because that other class going to tie right into this while we got a good hour or so. Proverbs 30:20 we want real quick, and then we're going to get that second Enoch, and then we're going to get right to this lesson at hand. Go ahead, what you got?
You sure it's 30? That ain't talking about
Proverbs 30:20?
I'm talking about the second Enoch.
I want second Enoch 30 though. Maybe you're down about the 15th verse.
You said Proverbs 20, 30.
30:20. So when we talk about Eve ate from the tree, it's possibly she ate both ways, because he told her don't eat from it nor touch it. And we know what he said in Matthew 12 and Matthew 7. An evil tree cannot bring forth good fruit. So we know it ain't talking about literal, it's talking about men as trees. Neither can a good tree bring forth evil fruit. So the Holy Spirit will never tempt you to do anything wrong, ever. Where you at in that turn? You got it?
Yeah, Proverbs chapter 30, verse 20.
What it say?
Such is the way of an adulterous woman.
Such is the way of what?
An adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness.
So, how does that happen? Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and say, I have done no wickedness. So, not to get graphic, y'all women know there's a mouth south of the belly button. And adultery is being performed. And she's eating. This is a life manual, y'all. This ain't no other book manual. This has to deal with every part of human being, their anatomy, all of it. Give me that Hosea 10:13 while you're at that, and we'll get that second Enoch. Hosea 10:13, that's what we did, y'all, because we married to God, right? And he said we committed adultery against him, and he had to divorce us. But what the Hosea 10:13, we did something too. We did a little eating as a nation. Hosea 10:13, what does it say, Nat?
It says, ye have plowed wickedness.
What have we done?
Plowed wickedness. Ye have reaped iniquity. Ye have eaten the fruit of lies.
What have we eaten?
The fruit of lies.
We ate the fruit of lies. That's what Eve ate, the fruit of lies. It wasn't going to do nothing but produce death. That's what the children of Israel did. That's why we got kicked out the land, for plowing wickedness and eating the fruit of wickedness, eating the fruit of lies. The devil is a liar from the beginning. Ain't that what it say? Mm-hmm. So y'all just had to go over all of that to explain why a man uncovers in the assembly and a woman cover in the assembly, both spiritual and physical. Then you understand the, 1 John 5, he's worse than the infidel. Mm-hmm. So when you go in that, that's household rule too. It gets into there. If your mother-in-law come live with you, these the rules. These the rules. And if a man can't take care of it, you can't have your mother-in-law come live with you and she take over the house. It's against the rules. Because you're technically her husband only in a sense. Don't get it twisted. Go ahead, bro.
I got a question here in the chat. I asked the person what they meant by it, but I'm going to read it first. It says, question, if you have abusive parents, can you cut them off? Will you be violating the commandments? I asked them what they meant by abusive. I haven't gotten a response.
Well, we understand what it's saying, because it tells you fathers don't be lions in the house. Right. So abuse, sometimes these things happen, and but you have to honor the fifth commandment. Honor means respect, so there's a line you can't cross. So when you get into the book of Sirach 7 and what's the other one? It say if your father get old, your mother get old, be patient with them, because you're going to get old one day too and your mind may slip. There's a line you just can't cross. All you have to say is to get to the point that when you're old enough to get away from that abuse, because if the abuse happens to the point as you're a child, the state going to come and fix that abuse problem. Especially if somebody find out about it. They're going to fix that problem. And then when they get to the penitentiary, it's going to be fixed some more. Because think about that. Criminals don't even play that. You hurt a child. Right. In jail. You come in there for anything but that. Yeah. Because they look at it like you're attacking innocence. They can't defend themselves. And you doing this to them. They're waiting on you. I'm talking about the worst of the criminals. He did what? What you do dirty, I kill a whole house full of people, all adults though. What you do, I murdered over here. What did he do? He whooped on the child at the playground. Oh, he done did worse than all of us. But the Messiah say, if you touch a child, you might as well put a millstone around your neck. When you understand that, you have to leave it at that and don't take it no further, because if this abusive parent, if right now you had a choice to pick who you, and it said you're going to be in the kingdom, now you get to pick 10 family members, would you exclude your parents? That would be the question. Would you exclude them? No, hell no. I don't want Earl Senior in there, and I don't want my mama in there. I'm taking Auntie Betty. Boom, 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 boom. There's a fine line, y'all, to honor your mother and father. And that's just called respect. If you don't like what they saying, respectfully, I'm gonna get up out of here so I don't say the wrong thing. You have to, because your birth certificates ain't gonna never catch up. They ain't gonna never be on the same day. You ain't gonna never catch up to their age. And then you have to think, if you're in any type of mental stability, they did right with you about for 9 months, didn't they? At least 9 or 10 months while you were being born, they did right by you, or you wouldn't be able to make these decisions on your own right now. What you got, bro?
That was Sirach 3 you was talking about.
Yes, Sirach 3. Go ahead.
Verse 11, it says, "For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father."
Right.
And a mother is dishonored. And a mother is dishonored, is a reproach to the children. My son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth. And if his understanding fail, have patience with him. And despise him not when thou art in thy full strength.
See, so when you become a full man, you can't look back at him. See, he ain't gonna be the man like you. He get that enough from his woman. You ain't dung. Your children ain't gonna be dung. He get all that from everybody else. So there's a fine line you just cannot cross, y'all. That's all we can say. That was Sirach 3, and then also Sirach 7 too. And Sirach 7 says the same thing. That's in the Apocrypha. So y'all, when it says honor your parents, honor means ultimate respect at a level that a child should give his parents. Because if you have children, you got to expect the same thing.
Right, but at the same time, depending on what this abuse is, you just ain't gonna come around and be a slap talker.
No, you can't, but that's why I'm saying when you're in your full strength. Right. That says when you become a man. Right. Up until the time you become a man, the state is there. Somebody's there who can stop that. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Just like this boy out in Vegas, putting his children in a dog cage, beating them, they ain't ate. He said he kicked the one child in the head so hard he thought he was dead for 2 days. He out in Vegas now, the case out in Vegas, a Hebrew. Beating him to death, and the woman, he had her sex trafficking into the wife. The new wife, the other children are his, but had him in a dog cage and had them so terrified that they wouldn't open the door for housing. They said there's the police here. When they walked in, the pit bull was looking fed, they thick and husky, and child looked like a skeleton. He got them in there. Then talking about, I'm innocent. They like, okay, you're going to be innocent all right. Come with me. You're going to be innocent all right. So they have authorities for that if it gets past the point that where all of these cases are coming up now, y'all, children being abused and locked away and different things. If it's found out, they pay the price for that as a child, but the child can't repeat that because hurt people hurt people. And so that's why you have to get, when you become in full strength, meaning when you understand what he was doing to me or why he's doing, the only thing because when full strength means if I was doing wrong and you put that heat on me. I told you not to go out this late at night and I put that belt on you. You felt like I hated you and I'm killing you. But you understand now, everybody that got to run out in the streets late at night, they either in jail or dead. So you understand it then. Go ahead, bro.
What was that on one of Jacob's shows about the dog and the kids in the cage?
Oh, well, it's in the Daily Mail. Y'all can Google it right now. Las Vegas man arrested for children in dog cage. It'll pop right up. 44 counts they got him on. Felony counts. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask a question. Being an adult child, then honoring your father, your mother, doesn't always mean you have to agree with them now that you're grown and you've grown into the knowledge and they're stuck in old man's traditions. I mean, honoring and respecting them, but it's not dishonorable. In other words, to still respect them as parents, but I don't agree with you type of person.
Yeah, that's easy to do. It's just right and wrong.
But I'm just
it's just Ezekiel 18 chapter. The whole chapter said if a father do this and the son seeth his father do that and he do not them way, Will not the Lord accept him? That's why I'm saying hurt people, hurt people. You have to change your way. You have to say, I'm not going to be like that with my children. You know, but the key is when you come to full strength where you can make those decisions for yourself. You're not going to make those decisions because if you keep doing it, what you're doing is trying to equal that hurt back. And then it still ain't going to be right because you can't win. There's no way you're going to win because you can't explain if you say, well, he did this to me when I was a child, so I got him when he was old. Who going to say that's right? You should have got it. Yeah, that's good. Did you kick that cane from out his hand and he fell on his head? Yeah, I did. Oh, you did the kick cane trick. Yeah, that's good, bro. That's what he needs. No, you can't do it. Ain't nobody gonna hold your hand up like this. No more than if somebody you whooping your woman, the weaker vessel, and then they hold your hand up. Here's the champion, the weaker vessel whooper. Who gonna be clapping? Yeah, dog. Nobody. So y'all, honor just mean a respect for the laws of God and yourself. And if your parents in this, you can just say respectfully, when you're in your full strength, you can go to your own house. Right. You can lead there. Look, and an example again, the Bible puts its own example. They came out. Your mother and your father when Christ was teaching in the temple. Your mother and your father out here, they want to talk to you. He simply said, who is my mother? Right. Who is my father? Those that hear the word of God and keep it. Amen. That's my mother and father. But what he did say, but then he subject himself to his mother so nobody would get it twisted that you can just do that, you know, and say, I ain't got to listen to my mama. He went out and just said, Mama, Dad, don't y'all know I'm about my father's business? And they like, yeah, we know, baby. I just wanted to speak to you. Well, I'm about my father's business. I got to handle this work. I was born to do this. The prophets told you I was born to do this, but he didn't disrespect her. Never to the end. And Joseph was his stepdad.
That's right, because he wasn't saying he was no carpenter.
No, he wasn't in his father's business. He wasn't at a shop. He was in the synagogue teaching. So he had to let them know don't nothing rude, because you know why? Another person came to him and said, blessed be the breast that you suck. And he said, yeah, blessed are they rather to hear the word of God and keep it, so you don't get into mother worship like the Egyptologists do. Go ahead, bro. That's what it say too for fathers. Don't provoke your children to anger. That's their instruction, because it's going to be worse for you. Not for them, because you find yourself alone and won't nobody come and visit you. That's going to be problems for you. And they say, you know, that's why you got to be careful with these holidays that they have. Like, hey, you know, them be the loneliest time for people if don't nobody want to come around. I ain't going over there. They crazy over there. And you're by yourself. But you know why you're by yourself. Can't nobody tolerate you. And so that makes you by yourself. That don't make no disrespect for the children, because they won't go over there. They're just trying to prevent chaos, because a child can't win the argument even if he's wrong. I mean, even if the father's wrong. They can't win because there's a respect level for who birthed you. You understand what I'm saying? You didn't come from, they didn't come from you. You came from them. So there's a line you cannot cross over. You ain't gonna never be their parent, but they're not to provoke their children. If they do, when you come to full strength, you get away from that. And then if he needs some help, you still have a responsibility to make sure that you go see about them. You can't just throw them in a home and then go back there weekly and you know they got on a pissy diaper and you know bed sores and different things. If you do that, you got to go check on them. You know, you're at least responsible for that. So y'all, it ain't hard. That's what honor is. If you look up honor, it means respect, total respect or honor. And like say, we have to honor a physician. How do you do that? You know, you have to give a doctor respect who done went to school. You gonna let somebody else have a scalpel and ain't went to school? Yeah, bro, I was flipping through this YouTube and it say all I have to do is cut right under there. And they got no anesthesia or nothing. But you know, you better honor a physician. Well, y'all, I hope that got some good understanding, y'all. Real quick, y'all, so we kind of behind, but this gonna tie it all in because it's all the same thing. The Daily Bread of Yah. Go ahead.
Got one more, another question in the chat. I just watched the Hebrew class on the wilderness, a place of safety during the 3.5 years of tribulation.
Uh-huh.
Did I believe this? Respectfully looking for an answer. Thank you.
Should she believe it?
Yes.
A wilderness?
That there's a place to hide and a place of safety during the 3-year tribulation in the wilderness.
Well, all you have to do is look at the history, Ezekiel 20:33. It tells you that the second coming got to happen just like it happened in Egypt. But that Ezekiel 20:33 gonna tell you that we're in the wilderness of the people.
Right.
If he gonna gather you from the four corners of the earth, where's the secret spot? You understand what I'm saying? So we're in the wilderness of the people. Now everybody know about Christ. The whole world know. The world is a wilderness. There's all strange doctrines going on. And look, all you have to do is ask yourself, in the wilderness coming out of Egypt, where was the safety zone? We warred all the way through the wilderness. We had wars all the way through. And guess who the first war was with? Dathan and Korah and them. They were put to death in the wilderness. 3,000 souls got buried alive in the wilderness. So what pomegranate play? If the wilderness is like that, then we don't need the kingdom. The kingdom protects you from all of that, according to the last verse of Revelation 22. It said, for outside the kingdom are dogs and sorcerers and murderers. That's outside. You ain't gonna have that protection in the wilderness. The wilderness is to try you.
Yes, sir.
If you make it under the rod, now you get the trying time to see if you've been cheating off of somebody else's paper, or you've been doing your own homework to study to show yourself approved. You ain't gonna have nobody speaking for you. Your mom and daddy can't tell you, now look here, Lord, you know I've been serving you, and I know Junior got on the wrong path sometime, but I'm telling you, Lord, you need to let him in. That ain't gonna happen.
I ain't gonna be able to call you.
Nobody. You ain't better call your pastor. Pastor, can you go up there and talk to the Messiah? He said he don't see my name in the book of life. You think he gonna go up there and say something to the Messiah? He gonna be worried about his name in the book of life. See, the whole thing is not to get your name blotted out. Everybody's name goes in the book of life. But when you do something so bad, like blaspheme against the Holy Spirit or take the mark of the beast, your name get marked out. It get blotted out for bad behavior. Moses tried to do that when he was getting the 10 Commandments. They was down there clowning. Moses said, no, they shouting your name, Lord. He said, that ain't shouting for me.
Name.
They partying down there. They ain't hollering for me. And Moses said, well, block me out, Lord. Don't do it to them. He said, no, that ain't how it work, Moses. That ain't how it work. Every man stand on his own behavior, so to speak. You can't take nobody else's faults. It's not going to happen on Judgment Day. If that's the case, and you mentioned another scoundrel, this guy named Malachi Yard. He was about 10 different religions. They say he took the rap for his son. He's doing 160 years for saying he was the Messiah, raping boys and girls. And it's about, he just took that case for his son. Well, how do y'all allow his raping pedophile child to still be out there and talking about what he doing? Y'all need to get with him. Who getting with him? Because it ain't gonna stop. He can't do time for his son. But that's what they want to believe, the lie that his father said, I'll take the rap for you, son. I'll do all of that time. I'm telling you, that's my brother over there and love him to death, but I ain't doing 20 years. If he beating on that door, man, I done did that. I'm like, look here, I'm going to tell him you went east.
You better go west.
You go west. That's the best you got coming. Now get going. Let's get it, y'all. Too bad that's it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I guess we can get to it now. Right. The Daily Bread of Yah. And y'all, what we're talking about is daily bread. So we'll start with Matthew 6 and 11. Y'all have to understand why this prayer is so powerful, because it's only, and when we get to the 31st verse, you're going to understand the day is sufficient of itself. If you so concerned about tomorrow, tomorrow might not come for you. You can die in your sleep. Like you say, the end of class, your next breath, you can choke out behind the wheel of a car. Or some of these maniacs run through a red light and kill you. So y'all, we have to understand, that's why he say just take what you need daily and give it the next day. Go ahead, where we at? 6 and 11 we're going to start? when they ask how should we pray. Matthew. So y'all, what we're going over is like a lot of people saying praying, and but wait, you want to start? Might start at 1.
Yeah, that's what I was
Okay, go ahead. Because y'all, these are instructions so we don't have to guess. We'll never have to guess with the Bible.
We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 6. We're going to start the reading in verse 1.
And also, Cash, if you're talking about like the marriage vows, you read the book of Tobit. Him and his wife did vows, you know, but witnesses was always there. Even in these Bibles like this, you see what you have in here, Holy Bible. And then what they all have is a holy matrimony. And the first thing they have is 2 witnesses right here. You can do this if you don't want to go to a courthouse, but you still have to get it notarized in their court system so they can put it out to the public. Because that way it stops bigamy. You know, multiple marriages. And, you know, he locked up or something. She get married while he locked up. You know, 7 years is one thing that's called abandonment. If you ain't seen him, he said he's going to get a loaf of bread and you ain't seen him in 15 years. That's something different. Then the law allows you to cut that off. You understand what I'm saying? But it must be 2 witnesses. The parents must be involved. According to those camp doctrines, then we got wives everywhere. Young men I'm talking about that was loose. I ain't looking at you, Zed. Yes, ma'am.
They had something that was called a ketubah.
Well, that's Judaism.
Yeah, in Judaism.
Right.
And they had...
That was like a prenup.
It was like a... And it was put on the wall to remind anyone walking in the door in case they happen to have had any false conceptions of who lived here or who the marriage people were.
Right.
So would that be the same as we have today? Even though I know it's Judaism.
Right. So that's mainly, like I say, that's a man-made doctrine, Judaism. And so it's just a contract. No, marriage ceremony is what it is. It's simple. You go get your mother, his mother, your father, your parents, and then you say these children want to get married. The only time you can't get a divorce in the Bible is if a man have his way with a young virgin. He must marry her for life. He can never divorce her. We used to call them shotgun weddings. She come home pregnant, her father show up at your door. Your boy got my daughter pregnant and here to preach it too. They force you to get married right then, and he can never divorce because you've just ruined her. You know, and see, and that's what most people don't understand. The only 2 terms for women in the Bible, if sex is involved, is wife or harlot. And then there's whore. A harlot may be a woman that got tricked one time, or she's with an individual that she's not married to. They're just kind of coexisting. You know what I'm saying? But you can't give her the title of wife, so you have to let the next person know that she's not a virgin. I know it sounds rough the way it's saying, but nowhere in the Bible is a harlot you will see, and then she was punished. What you see is whores being punished that were married and they played the harlot. Like Proverbs 7, like what Tamar did, play the harlot. But harlot, like Samson saw a harlot and he married her. Get the wedding ceremony together. Judges 14th chapter. Get the wedding ceremony together. What it means is she's already have sex. You're not marrying a virgin. That's all it means. If they start practicing being a harlot, then they become a whore. Earl on Tuesday, Rufus on Thursday, Jimmy on Friday. That's whoredom then. They're not, a mistake wasn't made. And that was the same thing for men. Isaac would call a lad and he was 37 years old. That meant he still hadn't had a woman yet. He's considered a laddie. Shalom, lad. You know, but how we come up, they made us feel disrespected. You 14 years old, you still a virgin. I better be. You understand what I'm saying? Look, What kind of household can I take over? I'm in the 8th grade or something, but they start singing that Smokey Robinson song. I remember them two boys. I ain't gonna name them who they were. You ain't never had none. Hey, yeah, you still a virgin. And then they start singing, how can you love a virgin, man? Y'all ain't no virgin. But see, they flipped it on. I mean, embarrass you because you're where you're supposed to be. What the hell I'm gonna do with a child at 13 or 14? A child. Now you come under the law. That's the age of accountability. When a woman comes into a flower or a boy reaches puberty and he's able to emit, because there's washing laws in Leviticus 15. You have to wash yourself because that's blood. So men come under the law when they reach the age of accountability. They may not be 12. They try to use 12, but it could be 15. You got late bloomers out here. Zed was a late bloomer. He 22, wasn't it, Zed?
Well, you need to stop telling stories on the set.
Go ahead.
So it is a covenant contract.
Yes.
Between the man and the woman.
Yeah.
And that's why the Father says, I'm just putting it
Right.
And so the Father says that when he said that he was married to us and broke it, but it was still a covenant contract.
Yeah. Jeremiah 3:8, he said, I'll marry to you, Israel.
Right.
But it said we played the harlot, because the Bible is the only book on earth that's married to its followers. Everybody else is just religion. But the Bible is a marriage contract. When you get in here, you marry into this covenant. It's the only marriage. So, and then you read the law where it say if a man divorce his wife and she go be another man's wife, so that kill any time where it's saying a woman can't never be divorced. No, the law say if he find no favor in her, then if he divorce her, she can go be another man's wife. She just can't come back to him. If she divorced from that second husband, she can't come back to the first one. That's the rule. So we're married to Christ. And he divorced us, but he gonna make a new covenant with us. But ain't nobody else married us. They just use us as a whore. They come in our neighborhoods and whore us out with all of their Chinese writings and all of these things. We play the whore to other gods. We'll join the Muslim, we'll join this. So we're playing the harlot. But he said, I'm gonna make a new covenant with you. If somebody else buys us, or we get reparations, or they account for us, they become redeemer for us, we want to take the children of Israel and become their God, then we marry them. The Most High, we can never go back to him again. He can't break his own laws. Do that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Go ahead, Emo.
just to say that I love that word, that term, covenant contract.
Yeah, he made a covenant with us. Ain't no other gods do that.
Right.
And it was a marriage contract called Ezekiel 16. He said, when I took you, when you was young, he said, technically, well, we might as well run this. Give me a little bit of Ezekiel 16. Nat Turner, or whoever got it. Real quick so y'all can see this marriage contract. And he's going to tell us what it did. He followed the rules. And see, our God is a man. And understand, the only thing what I'm talking about is when we say a man, full status protection or protecting his offspring or protecting his wife or his bride. It's a man. And what that means is he meets all needs. M-A-N.
Yeah.
Now, when you go play the harlot with another God, you're going to get an M-A-N, a mooching a Negro. All he doing is mooching off of you. He'll never marry you. So women have to understand, you can get a man that meets all needs. He'll be able to satisfy the needs. He may not be able to buy you the car you want or do these type of things. But you can get mad at that and go get an M-A-N, a mooching a Negro, and you're going to find what you really was looking for. Where you at on that?
Ezekiel chapter 16.
Yeah.
Verse 1.
We're going to jump down about, yeah.
Jump down to 8.
No, when you go, just read 1 and 2.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 1.
Hold on, I hear a few pages flipping.
That's because they're close to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. I'm looking for something else, though. I was looking for something for cash, yeah.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations,
Uh-huh.
and say, Thus saith the Lord God unto Jerusalem, Thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
Uh-huh.
Thy father was an Amorite,
Uh-huh.
and thy mother an Hittite.
See, so if you didn't understand the difference between land prophecy and people prophecy, it said you were born in Canaan and your mother was a Hittite. Those are African nations. See, if you let people play on you, they'll say, y'all really Africans. Y'all ain't no Israelite right there. But that's the land prophecy. Right. Canaan was the land that Ham's son got when they got off the ark. It's called Jerusalem to this day. It's the most holiest place on earth. It's the center of the world. It's the navel. Canaan. It's still called that today. It changed to Jerusalem. But when the Messiah come back in Zechariah 14, he say, it shall no more be a Canaanite in the house. It shall be the Lord, shall be there forever. So he's just telling you, when I made the contract with Abraham, I sent him to Canaan, the land of the Africans. We're not Africans. They know who they are. They'll tell you, I'm Zimbabwe, I'm Rhodesia, I'm Hutu. Where is Negroville? Where is Colored County? Where is Spirichucka City? It don't exist. That's why I say we bywords and proverbs that he read. That means they call you by another name than who you are. African Americans. See, other people can go back and play for their nation in Olympics. Any German over here that's German American can go back in Olympics and play for Germany. Why won't they let Michael Jordan or any of them go play for Africa? See, they know who they are. They could come into Chase Park Plaza in 68. Africans could. We couldn't. So they know, and they set up shop in our neighborhoods, just their stores. But I can't recall, now if you recall any Africans living in the projects?
Nope.
Anybody have any Africans living on their block other than the store? Any Chinese just living on your block in the projects? So they make merchandise out of us because we're the gold. The gold has just become dim because we got throughout. Go ahead. What it say, Nat?
Verse 4.
Yeah.
And as for thy nativity, and the day that thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to how you pronounce it? Supple thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. None I pitied thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee. But thou wast cast out in the open field, to the loathing of thy person, in the day that thou wast born. And when I passed by thee, and saw thee polluted in thine own blood, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live.
See, yea. So all is basically saying is, when he first found Israel, he took us to send Abraham to there with a covenant. He said, when I first found y'all was in y'all nativity, y'all didn't have no covering. Y'all was shalom, y'all. Shalom, my dear children. Y'all was without a God, so to speak. Y'all was without a God. So I caught y'all at y'all youngest stage. Go ahead, what else to say, Nat?
Yeah. I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thine hair is grown.
See, so he's giving the example of, I had to wait till you're of age, because we got some Israelite camps out here that teach that you can have a little girl at 12 years old. Y'all understand what I'm saying? That's what they teaching. 12 years old, she could be a bride. Get out of here. That's why the Christ said, what did it say right there? Nat, and the hair is grown right before that?
Yeah, it says, and thou art come to excellent ornament. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thine hair is grown.
So it's telling you you're a woman now, so to speak, metaphorically. The hair is grown over the place it's supposed to be, and your breasts are where they're supposed to be. You're past a training bra. That makes sense? Go ahead, read some more on that.
Whereas thou was naked and bare. Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love.
See, when I checked you before I could marry you, it was the time of love. I couldn't jump the gun. You had to be responsible enough to be a wife, to be able to bear children. So when the time of love came, what else to say, Nat?
And I spread my skirt over thee.
What do you do?
Spread my skirt over thee.
So that means I'm covering you with the protection and power. I spread my skirt over you. Go ahead.
And cover thy nakedness. Yeah. I swear unto thee and entered into a covenant with thee.
Y'all see that? I swear unto you, and we just read about swear, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's a vow can't break. I swear unto you, then I made a covenant with you.
Yes.
Go ahead, what else it say?
Saith the Lord God, and thou becamest mine.
Thou did what then?
Becamest mine. Then washed I thee with water. Yeah, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I clothed thee also with broidered work.
See, now he telling you about how he took care of us. He said, I clothe you in the best clothes, the finest clothes on earth. What else he do?
And shod thee with badger skin.
And shod thee with badger skin. Jeremiah, you wonder why. Yeah, yes sir. Yes sir. Jeremiah, you wonder why you like them gators and snakes, them dangerous animals. Badger skin. See, y'all have to understand, the Levitical, the diet is different from the skin of an animal. You just can't eat that animal. But we wore, because badger skin shoes were waterproof. And they could take heavy wear and tear. Also, badger skin covered the Ark of the Covenant. So if you just saying a badger is bad, no, it's not bad. That's what it say. Everything he created in the evening and the morning was good. It didn't say bad and good, did it? You just can't eat a badger, but you can wear badger skin shoes, and they'll be waterproof. Wear some Timberlands out if you get some badger skin shoes. Now, Dick's Sporting Goods sell badger skin shoes. They don't look like what we are like, but they sell them, and they waterproof. What else it? No, badger is like a weasel from the weasel family. It's mean. It's got that stripe down its back. A badger get busy with some snakes and stuff. But see, it was waterproof, so when we carrying the Ark of the Covenant, not only that, but it protected it from just shocking people, because the priest had to lift it up, So badger skin covered it to protect it from rain or something if it got out, different things like that. A storm came, that badger skin would protect the Ark of the Covenant. Just cover it, so to speak. Go ahead, what else?
Equivalent to a pig, you saying?
No. Weasel.
We cannot eat a badger.
It don't mean it's a pig.
It don't mean it's a
can't
pig.
eat it.
No, you can't eat it. You can wear its skin though.
Right.
If you want a badger skin jacket, you good. You just can't be found chewing on the collar.
Like it's a pig. Like it's a pig. You can't chew a pig.
Right, but you can wear pig skin shoes.
Exactly.
Look, pigs were good because they were our trash compactors. Like when we got finished with this, we didn't have Gateway recycling come around in. We would dump all this in the pig trough and he'd eat it up. That's how you got rid of your waste.
That's right.
That's all they were created, but that's a good thing. Just like if catfish eats the doo-doo off the bottom of the ocean so you can eat your tilapia, so you can eat your jack salmon. If they wasn't there, that would be ruined. Don't you put catfish in your fish tank and point out the other pretty fish and let that one don't say nothing about, but you need him clearing that glass up and eating them impurities off the bottom of your fish tank so it look pretty, or it kill them other good looking fish if they don't have it. So it's a good thing. You just can't eat it because you're just eating doo-doo.
Makes sense.
That makes sense?
Make it make
Okay,
sense.
all right.
Snails.
Like who?
Like snails.
Like snails or anything that it tells you what you can't eat. You can eat grasshoppers.
Yeah, you can.
You just can't eat beetles.
Right.
Go ahead.
It says, and I gird thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk.
With what?
With silk.
Y'all see how the Most High dressing his bride up with silk? Nice shoes. Go ahead.
Verse 11. I decked thee also with ornament.
Y'all heard deck thee with ornament. Y'all how it say on back in the day when we used to do Easter. Boy, I was decked out. Go ahead, bro.
And I put bracelets upon thy hands.
What he put on your hand?
Bracelets upon thy hands and a chain on thy neck.
See, our God took care of us. He dressed us up. He treated us like you're supposed to be when you come to a wife with a dowry and you tell her father, I want to marry your daughter. What you got? I'm supposed to have something?
Just like
I got my mind on the back room. You better get away from her.
I was just saying, just like Abraham sent the gifts with
Look, for Rebecca, for Isaac.
Rebecca,
He sent his servant, go get Rebecca. First thing he come with, he gave gifts to her father, her mother, and her brother. And they looking at these silk garments. They like, who is this for? It's for his son. I need an answer today. And they say, come here, Rebecca. Did this man say he wants you to marry Isaac? Abraham sent for her. And then he gave her a bracelet. 17 shekels worth of gold on the bracelet. They say, you want to go? She said, yes, I do want to go. But she was 10 years old. So you'll have men saying, well, he had a 10-year-old bride. No, he didn't, because Deborah, the nurse, is there. And she was the big mama of all the 12 tribes. You read it in the testament of, is it Naphtali? We talk about Deborah when she died. Oh, Genesis 35 may mention Deborah's death. She was the big mama of all the 12 tribes. She told Isaac when Rebecca was ready, you better get on waiting around her. This girl ain't ready yet. Go on waiting around her. Didn't have to tell him too many times. She was just spoken for at an early age, but Abraham sent the dowry to let him know, I'm not taking wealth from y'all house. It could be another king want her and will offer a fortune. I'm coming to let all y'all know, when she married my son, she gonna be in good shape. They didn't have their first child. Isaac was 40 when this happened. He didn't have his first child till he was 60. So there's 20 years in there, which would make her 30. That make sense? Okay, read some more.
Absolutely.
But no, ain't no child marriages or child raping going on in here, and the punishment if you touch a child. Right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
And I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thine ears, and a beautiful crown upon thine head. Thou wast decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen and silk, embroidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey and oil, and thou wast exceeding beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom. And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon thee, saith the Lord God. But thou didst trust in thine own beauty.
What did we do?
Trust in thine own beauty.
See, so we got beside ourselves and trusted in how good we look. And what happened after that?
And playest the harlot.
What did we do?
Playest the harlot.
Do y'all see the term, the difference? Playest the harlot. We were married and we played the harlot. Look like we look so good. The other guys are like, hey, you come over here, and they don't offer us nothing.
Right.
And those other guys will have you standing out on a street corner promoting their doctrine, just like a whore, in their uniform. Y'all understand what I'm saying? But God didn't do us like that. He said, I'm going to send you out by twos with my power. Go to every door and knock on the door and tell them the good news. Christ is coming back to save the world. That's our only job, y'all. We're standing out, hooping and hollering, cussing folks out, and trying to pass out papers of another doctrine. You playing the harlot married to this God. You're playing the harlot. Look, in 1 Kings 4 or 6, where the split the baby come from, Solomon split the baby. It said 2 harlots was in one house. Both of them had babies at the same time. So they had some player, because the babies looked identical almost, so it probably was one dad. The one baby died, the other one said, that's my baby. Now they both in the same house. And it said 2 harlots, so they women that had babies and didn't have a husband. So Solomon said, who baby is it? The one said, that's my baby. She rolled over and killed hers. And Solomon said, oh, I'll find out. Bring me the baby. He held the baby up like this and said, I'll just split in half. The one mother hollered, no, just give it to her. He said, that's the mama. But notice it was no punishment for saying harlot or anything like that, because it's men out here, it's wolves out here that will trick a woman and take her virginity from them, and you can't call them a virgin no more. But the title changes from harlot to wife. It'll always change. She'll never be known as that again. She'll be known as a wife. You understand? But whore is a whole different story. That's a practicing harlot. She line them up and knock them down. Let's get some more. Where we at? You finished that?
Verse 15.
Yeah.
But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and playest the harlot because of thy renown, and pourest out thy fornications on everyone that passed by.
Pour out that fornication on every. We'll join any religion on this planet. And always try to reach back for the Bible to prove this God you chasing and horn around with. When the Bible will say that too, why you coming back to the Bible? You and your doctrine, stay over there. Let's get some more.
His it was.
So his it was, y'all, just using us up. Other doctrines. Using us like a old dish rag. Just using us up, y'all. Ain't fit for number cleaning the stove. Go ahead. Where we at?
Verse 16.
Yeah.
And of thy garments thou didst take, and deckest thy high places with divers colors, and playest the harlot thereupon.
Ooh, that's terrible, y'all. Y'all, you can hold that in that. But y'all understand Proverbs 7:7. That was playing the harlot, because she said the goodman of the house is going on a long journey. He ain't here. He gone. He off on some business dealing. So that lets you know that harlot was married. She just want to be like a single woman out there. Now Moses said something to me the other day. That was pretty good. I told him I was gonna read it. Hold on. He told me something. Okay.
Well, at first, you know where everybody mind when Moses.
So, yeah. No. We're talking about Moses, our brother around here. And we're talking about single women. He's just saying just because you're single as a dollar don't mean you have to be loose like change. Yeah, I told him. He said, yeah. I said, yeah, well, ain't gonna work. I said, but I better write that down because I ain't gonna get it right. Where we at now, y'all? We can go back to it. We good?
Matthew 11:6.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew 6.
Y'all, we gonna run this on out. We ain't got but about half hour. Y'all, in this Bible study and study this class, you can always raise your hand, ask any questions, y'all. We let the Bible interpret the Bible.
Right.
You know. So y'all, that's how we get down here. This is the assembly, and with all you're getting, get what?
You understand?
If you shaking your head like this, like you understand, and in your mind you saying, "What the hell is he talking about?" That's the problem. We have to stop till you can say amen. Amen means I agree and I understand what you're teaching. If you just saying amen and we start begging, come on, give me an amen out there. Give me an amen. You can't ask that. You can't beg nobody to agree with what ain't written. Let's get some more.
Can I get an amen?
Yeah.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Matthew, chapter 6. We're going to start the reading in verse 1. Is everybody still there? And it reads, "Take heed that ye do not your alms before men, to be seen of them. Otherwise, ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound the trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward."
So you ain't got to go telling nobody every time you do a good deed. Right. Yeah, man, I went down there and put half my income tax check. I gave it to him, dog. You ain't got to sound the trumpet. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
"But when thou doest alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. That thine alms may be in secret. And the Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly."
How he gonna reward you?
He'll reward you openly. "And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward."
Yeah, that's it. All you got coming is that little crowd around you, hooting and hollering publicly. Go ahead.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
"But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet."
So if you're in a position first spiritually, There has to be a safety zone up here in your mental, a closet up here that you talk to the Most High if you never open your mouth. There's a closet you go into that you can't let nobody else in here. When you get hypnotized, the first thing they do is say, empty that closet out. Well, the laws are in that closet up here. They need you to empty them out, and then they put another driver in there. You got to be careful, y'all, extra careful. Go ahead, what else to say?
And when thou hast shut thy door, pray to the Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him.
What did he say? You have what of?
Things that you need, things that you have need of.
What you have need of, and that's the daily bread. His law, statute, judgment. You need that more than anything. Because a whole lot of money, what they say about a what with a bunch of money?
Soon let the money shall soon
depart. You can get all the money, but if you ain't got the wisdom and understanding, it's going to be gone like good candy. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
After this manner, therefore, pray ye.
So now we got our instructions. Go into your closet. So if you at home, there's a spot that you have that you go in to speak to the Father privately. You know, you shut the door and he say, this how you pray. So we got instructions from the Messiah, straight head on of how to get to him. Go ahead, what else to say?
After this manner, therefore, pray ye.
Yeah.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
Our what?
Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Yo, that's a simple prayer. And is that long and drawn out?
No.
It ain't to the point. Then he say go in the closet. Cause y'all look, we supposed to pray 3 times a day. Morning, noon, and evening. Evening is not nighttime, because when nighttime comes, that starts a new day. In the Bible, the day starts at night.
Right.
It still do that here. It's just 6 hours later. At 12:01, we say it's another day, don't we? 12 midnight, don't we say 12:01? What you say? Happy New Year, don't you? So this nation still recognize the day starts at night. The Bible just starts it a few hours earlier. At sundown is a new day. That's why you have morning, noon, and evening prayer. Evening is you got to get the prayer in, because the day ends when the street light come on. That's the warning that tells you you're finna go into a new day when the street lights come on. So that's the evening prayer. You get that in, because if you don't, you take whatever's plaguing you to day number 2. So you have to get 3 times. You can pray all the time, but there should be 3 set prayers like David prayed in Psalm, 115, 55, 3 times a day. Daniel tell you when he was in captivity in Babylon, he turned toward Jerusalem and prayed 3 times a day. I'm talking about you solo. You'll hear some alarms go out, especially Sister Naomi over there, go off between the 2 o'clock hour and right before 3 p.m. That's called the hour of prayer. That's the 3rd hour, 9th hour of the day. Go ahead, what you got?
Psalms 55 and 17
Yeah.
says, evening and morning and afternoon, and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice.
Yeah, so we have to understand, like I say, Daniel did it in Daniel 10th chapter. You see he turned toward Jerusalem in captivity and still kept his prayer going like he's supposed to. Now, and you got to be careful that nobody tell you, well, you're supposed to face the east when you're praying. If somebody driving erratically in front of you and you going west, what you going to do? Look back and pray? Watch it, Lord. Watch it. No. So
tempt not the Lord.
Boy, look. So y'all, you pray always. Shalom, bro. You pray always. But all time, because you're supposed to meditate on the Lord constantly, but you need to at least set time And some of y'all may be just like me. I said some of y'all a lazy prayer with them 3 times a day. I try to roll over while you're still in the bed to the east. Just, just what we're talking about, y'all, but he understands it. At least you're making the attempt, but that don't make it to a point that where you get to know him personally. And he'll come deal with you personally, one-on-one. And you just tell him what you need from him, just like you would talk to your earthly father. Dad, I need you to handle this for me. They create all type of these problems, and he'll handle that work. Did he handle your work, John?
He handled it.
Yes, sir.
And I got
yes,
tired,
sir.
And I got come on have him turn my lemon into lemonade. Like
yes, sir.
But after so long, you can't keep stepping on it.
Look here.
I told you.
Down there,
you
boy.
Fix that yourself.
Yeah, you got to, because the water treatment plant, boy, they ain't got a explosion down there, boy, since you regular now. Happy about that, ain't you, boy? I know you is, but see, that's when we get older. We mention them kind of things, and look, it ain't. You be like I told you, I was like, boy, I went regular. He said, you too. But that means life, though. If you eating good, you ain't that sick, and if you dropping a bomb, then that means you in a better shape, because you can't have all that bottled up and won't come out. Because there's something called lock bowel. It'll come out the other end, won't it? It'll come out the other end, come out of your mouth. So you got to be careful. You balance yourself out. Go ahead.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you.
Right.
But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Moreover, when ye fast, be not as the hypocrites of a sad countenance.
Of a what countenance?
A sad countenance. For they disfigure their faces, that they may appear unto men to fast.
See, you can't even do that. And when you're fasting, what it's talking about, if you're fasting to, say, you afflict your soul on the Day of Atonement, or you just fasting for a health reason, you should be smiling. Somebody come over, they should never know you fast. But if you looking and lips ashy and what's up? Just fast and want the Lord to answer me.
Ain't gonna answer now.
And you disfigure your face. That makes it look bad on the Lord. You mean you got to look like this? It's hurting you like that? No, you need to put some Vaseline on and put some oil sheen in your hair, just like ain't nothing ever happened, but you fast and then you smile. Then he'll reward you openly, but you can't be trying to have somebody, you impressing somebody like you afflicting your soul.
Right. That's a misrepresentation.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead, bro.
Verily I say unto you, they have their reward.
They got their reward. So y'all read the rest of that. We're going to skip down to 27. That same chapter.
Okay. Verse 27.
Yeah.
Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit unto his stature?
Look, me and Nat Turner can answer that for y'all. I've been thinking of 6 feet, 5'11" and a half. Just a thought, though. I've won many a dunk contest in my dreams, but go ahead, bro.
Verse 28.
Yeah.
And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these.
Because that's natural. And he's saying, I'm taking care of the clothing for them. They beautiful out there, and Solomon, the way he was dressed up, can't compare to this, because this is natural for them. Go ahead, what else to say?
Wherefore, if Yah so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Therefore, take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of Yah.
What you have to do first?
Seek first the kingdom of Yah and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
So when you seek ye the kingdom first, you can't seek it with this behavior. Read a little bit of 1 Corinthians 6:9. If you're seeking the kingdom with this behavior, you're seeking the wrong kingdom. These them kingdoms that these camps run, because this is what they offer in there. And it entices men. You can have different coverings over you. Hit that real quick.
Read that 34, that's the last.
Go ahead.
Take therefore no thought for the morrow. For the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.
So you worrying about tomorrow. Technically, you want to not worry about it.
Right.
If tomorrow comes, you want to be prepared.
Exactly.
But you can't get past the point that you may die before tomorrow.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It could happen at any time, because tomorrow ain't promised. There is nowhere we got a record that say, I'm going to promise you this long life. Hezekiah was promised he wasn't going to die, but he was never told how much time he had, but he ended up getting 15 additional years, but it was never told how much time he was going to get. It just came in his fist. Most High said, I'm going to give you 15 more, bro. Job got his back, doubled up on his years, lived to a good old age. Where you at on that 6 and 9, y'all? So when it says, seek ye the kingdom, if you seeking a kingdom and it has this involved, you're seeking the wrong kingdom. What it say, Zed?
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh? Be not deceived.
Be not what?
Deceived. Neither fornicators.
Neither what?
Neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revelers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of Yahweh.
So if you join a camp and they tell you with the kingdom of God, and you identify any one of these felonies, these are felonies according to the Most High. These will get you the death penalty. So if you go into a kingdom and you know that's there, and you're calling it the kingdom, you're deceiving yourself. You ain't fooling nobody but yourself. How you gonna join a group, half of you believe the Messiah, and then the other half you don't, and y'all rocking together? How is that possible?
It's not.
How do you have a kingdom when one is denying the life giver, the redeemer of mankind, and you got these over here that don't believe he ever exists, and y'all coexisting?
Brunity, huh?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then you start setting up your own council and you make your own judgments. You can have it if you want to, but you know you're deceiving yourself. These are felonies. So when you seek the kingdom, these thoughts cannot be practiced. Understand what I'm saying? Because Paul will say again, as some of you were. See, it's past tense. But you can't be practicing iniquity and praying at the same time. It just don't work. Absolutely, that's New Testament. Revelation 22 will tell you the same thing, the last verse. Read that last verse of Revelation 22. Because Ecclesiastes tell us, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and do what? That's the whole duty of man. You ain't got no other duty but keeping the commandments. And keeping the commandments mean when you break one, you know what to do to get back in good grace. Because you're going to sin. You just got to know what to do when you do and how to fix it if you still have breath in your body. Some people die in their transgressions. Seen a boy sneaking up on another boy that had it on the doorbell camera. He creeping up the step with a ski mask and gonna rob him. That boy pulled out his pistol first and blasted him in his head. His next waking moment is at the resurrection with a ski mask on.
Right.
Died in his transgression. That's a bad way to leave this earth. A terrible way to leave this earth, in your transgression. Because there's no what in the grave? Repentance.
Right, exactly.
You can't say I'm sorry in the casket. It's dark in here. I'm sorry. Nope. Won't be dark in there for a while. What you got over there? Who had that?
You said the last one to 22?
Yeah. Yeah, Revelation. What it say? What's outside there? Dogs and murderers and sorcerers.
You want like verse 8?
Verse 8,
Oh.
is that what it say? Okay.
I don't really. No, you talking about 21.
21,
Yeah,
last
yeah,
verse,
yeah.
okay.
21 and 8.
And that Turner Sharp down there. What it say, Nat?
This is what you want. It says, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers
Yeah.
and sorcerers
Uh-huh.
and idolaters or
Idolaters, yeah.
idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Uh-huh. So y'all see that? That's what gonna get thrown in the lake of fire. So if you hear of a kingdom and you readily identify what those are, see, that's why you got to be careful and say the law was nailed to the cross. The law wasn't nailed to, well, only if you look in the perspective that Christ was the walking law. Yes, he was nailed to the cross, but he said, I didn't come to destroy the law or the prophets, but to fulfill the law. And he still has to fulfill the second coming of the law. So it can't be done away with. It's impossible to do away with law. If this nation done away with the law, what you think will be happening? You think downtown crazy right now. Just how about all the police go on vacation?
Right.
Huh? What you will have then? You couldn't go to work? Look, it's rough right now. Somebody breaking your house. You saw them sitting on the porch when you left for work, and they were sitting on the porch when you got home, but they don't know who broke in your house.
That ain't never.
Man, y'all didn't see nobody. Man, we ain't seen nobody. We was sitting right here.
Thou shalt not tell them that.
What kind of watch you got? What?
Man, is them my
Shoes, yeah. Okay, y'all, real quick, y'all. We just gonna read a couple, y'all. We're gonna get on out of here. Deuteronomy 8.
That's on good, man.
Yeah. And y'all, we're just gonna read a couple more concerning our daily bread, what it is, y'all. It ain't just eating, y'all. Our bread is this word of God. Christ was the bread of life. He come down from heaven, so we break bread with him, y'all. Any other God, any other thing, you're a thief and a robber if you try to go up any other way. I don't care what they say. They read some scripture, I don't care. They need to read the whole Bible. If you say this Bible is tampered with, a little leaven and do what? It cannot say holy on it again if you say it's got tampering with it. It's impossible to have holy. Holy means set apart and sanctified. If it's got tamperings in it, you can't call it holy. It would just say Bible. No tampering. The only tampering is up here in the individual's mind, because he don't want to face judgment. So he'll say, well, that part I don't like. Well, if we got to do that.
Yeah, it's like them brothers that say they don't believe in the New Testament.
Yeah.
You know, how you gonna take half of a book and expect to get a whole understanding?
Boy, it's crazy, ain't it? Huh?
Amen.
You got half ingredients of the best sweet potato pie. You got half the ingredients.
Don't taste
You got
right.
everything but the sweet potatoes.
It don't taste right.
Boy, ain't that crazy?
In the Old Testament,
Come on,
mirrored the
taste
New
this.
Testament, the New Testament mirrored the Old Testament.
Well, look, it's all one testament. All the New Testament is verifying what the prophets said that Christ was coming. You can't verify the Old Testament without the New Testament, because the first thing I'm gonna ask, did Christ ever walk this earth? Yes, you crazy? Well, how you gonna prove it? With what books? Everything else is prophecy up to Malachi. What else you gonna prove that he walked this earth? What you gotta use? You gotta have the New Testament. But they don't like what the New Testament say, especially these camps that say Israel is the only thing he loved. Well, if Israel would love like that, we wouldn't be here in America. We'd be at home. But you want to call every other man common and unclean. But it was strangers that came up with us out of Egypt. Strangers was with us. Numbers 12, one law for the stranger and one law for Israel. Y'all get the same law.
Yeah.
If they travel with you, they got to have the same law you got. Eleazar was Abraham's servant. And Abraham thought he was the one who was going to get the blessing. He didn't know he was going to have a child at 100. He thought it was going to be his servant who was a Syrian. Y'all understand that? And that same Syrian went to get Rebekah for his child, that miracle child. He sent that servant whom he loved, like his own child that was in his house. And that same Eleazar was with him, Ishmael, and it was Eleazar that went to the sacrifice of Isaac. This how much a stranger he brought in his household and treated him like his own son. No, you ain't going to be whipping and cutting off genitals in the kingdom. What kingdom is they talking about that? No, ain't no scripture in the Bible say you going to be doing that in the kingdom. Go ahead, brother.
Where
we at Deuteronomy 8.
Deuteronomy chapter 8.
Y'all, we ain't got but just a couple more. We're going to get some homework on the rest of these.
Verse 1.
Yeah, because we got to be out of here in 15, 20 minutes.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do.
Shall we do what?
Observe to do.
See, when you observe a commandment, that means you're studying it. You're observing it. Like you observe anything. You know what I'm saying? You're observing it, looking at, and do. Go ahead.
That ye may live.
That you may do what?
That ye may live. And multiply. And go in and possess the land which the Most High sware unto your fathers.
Right.
And thou shalt remember all the way which the Most High thy power led thee these 40 years in the wilderness. To humble thee.
To do what?
To humble thee.
See, that's what the wilderness for, to humble us, to break us down. Take us from what we think was good, bring us out and try us, and then feed us certain things that you know impossible for you to have in the condition that you're in. Go ahead.
And to prove thee. To know that was in, to know what was in thine heart. Whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
See, anybody can say we're going to the wilderness and tomorrow get prepared, but he gonna try you to see what's in your heart. I'm gonna test you right here. And he will never test you with evil, ever.
Purge out the rebels.
He just gonna purge out the rebels. Go ahead.
And he humbled thee. And suffered thee to hunger.
What'd he do?
And suffered thee to hunger. And fed thee with manna, which thou knowest not. Neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee known that man does not live by bread alone.
That man does not what?
Does not live by bread alone. Bread only, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High does man live. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee. Neither did thy foot swell these 40 years.
Look, I'm talking about you didn't have no hand-me-downs. Clothes were just like they were when you first put them on for 40 years. Heels didn't run over. I'm talking about nobody was walking like they bow leg. You know when them heels just run over so far. I mean heels just like they was on them sandals when you left Egypt. For 40 years. Fed you just to try you and see if you want to go back to where you was. You know, and it's the same way with the mark of the beast coming up here, y'all. They gave us a test run with COVID. They challenged everybody. You don't take this shot, you're going to lose your job. That burdened a lot of people, y'all, that put us in a position because you start thinking of hunger and all of these bills I got. If I don't take this, Lord have mercy, what am I going to do? It's just a test run of y'all, and it ran worldwide. It wasn't just in one particular area. The whole world was on lockdown with this, so it was just a forerunner. A lot of people just say, well, y'all going to have to do what y'all going to have to do. But y'all have to understand, they never passed it as law. When the mark of the beast comes, it's going to be passed as law. Go ahead.
Student Thomas in the chat asked, where will people go when they cannot pay their bills because they do not get the mark of the beast and lose access to their money?
They're going to be in a safe zone. Just like we was out in the wilderness. You're already in the wilderness of people. You'll be taken care of. You'll find spots because a lot of people are saving up food and doing things like that. You'll just get their goods. I mean, you may find yourself in a position because, look, when it kicks off the second coming, he said, if you're on the rooftop, do what? Don't come back down and go in the house. If you go back looking for any supplies, you're going to miss the boat, so to speak. If you're on your rooftop, he tell you don't go back in the house. He say if one out in the field, that means you can't call home. At home, everybody need to know what's going on. When you see these signs, y'all, if I'm at work, this what you supposed to do. If I'm over here, this what you supposed to do. If you getting leaves out of that gutter and the horn blow, don't come back in to get what? To take where? Where you going to take watered down stuff to? The gold of Eastern loan and jewelry? You think you're going to take that in the kingdom? Them streets of gold. This gold got impurities in it. So that's why it's saying it's going to happen so quick that you're going to be right where you are. You are in the wilderness now. Everything is happening. You're watching Sodom and Gomorrah right before your eyes. You're watching the days of Noah. You're watching AI, robots coming and things are out of control right now. You're seeing everything. Where are you going to go to get away from this is on the four corners of the earth. Jerusalem, the Holy Land, you want to go there? Well, they lead all of the nations in the gay pride parade. Yep. They number one at it. Can you imagine that? Switching and dog chains on, butt out jeans, walking down the streets of Jerusalem. You going there? Where you going to go? Right. You're going to stay right where you at because he told us just stay where you at and I'll come and get you. Don't worry about it. I'm coming to get you. I'm not a deadbeat dad. I'll come and get you. I've sent you there. I'm going to come and get you. If you try to leave here, you doubt me. You're listening to a hireling. Yeah. Somebody claiming to be me. Yeah. And he got you borrowing money from your family members and telling them a lie. How you going to a kingdom and telling a lie to get to the kingdom? Right. Borrowing money. You know that's what they're doing when they went over to Demona. A lot of them lying to their people. Yeah, I just need $1,000. I give it back to you next week. And you know you leaving the country. What king you got? We just read ain't no liars there, ain't there? Murderers and whoremongers on the run. You on papers and here is a place I can run to that the government, long arm of the government can't pull me back. That's what's in the kingdom of theirs. But you ain't going to have none of that here because it just told us don't seek them type of kingdom because that's what you're going to get. That's your reward. Just cause you single like a dollar don't mean you got to be loose like change.
Jingling.
I didn't have to see it again, boy. I had it again. Yes, sir.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so the Most High thy power chasteneth thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Most High thy power, to walk in his ways and to fear him. You can hold there, y'all. Y'all read the rest of that when you get time. We're just going to run through a couple more. We're going to close on out. Matthew 4, 1 through 4. And we're talking about the daily bread, y'all. What's sufficient for today? Get it in for today. Tomorrow may be different. If the mark of the beast come out tomorrow, what we going to do? They're going to give you a choice. First, they're going to break you down. Then they're going to kill people in front of you. See, it's easy to talk tough now because ain't nobody in here hungrier than a syrup sandwich. You ever been hungrier than that, Nat? Do anybody in here know what hunger is? I'm talking about when it ain't nothing to get to.
You know what, man?
Look, we a lot of time was hungry because we didn't want to thaw out what was in the refrigerator.
Right. That's when you be hungry. You be lazy.
Yeah. And syrup sandwich.
Yeah.
Ketchup sandwich.
Boy, look, butter and toast sandwich, a little sugar sprinkled on it. What you talking about? Boy, that wasn't hungry.
It just ball up some
bread and boy, look here.
But,
there was plenty of oatmeal in there. You could have cooked that.
That's what I was finna say is like what you saying when that mark of the beast coming out. First, they really trying to get this cashless society.
Yes, sir.
Because we went to a baseball game, and I took some money, and I just happened to have my card too.
But came back with that money.
Right, I came back with the money because soon as I went to pay the lady, she was like, "We only do debit in the whole stadium."
Yeah.
So if you ain't got no bread going to an event, then you just ain't gonna eat.
You ain't gonna eat.
And then if they control your electronic currency, they can say you ain't take the mark, cut him off.
Cut him off.
And no matter how much money you got, you can't use it.
Look, and the only money you really got is what you got in your pocket or at home. Go ahead.
When I was
the other week on the Navy Pier. That's all that you couldn't order nothing without a debit card. Without a debit card, y'all. And they get into that. Now they got Apple Pay. They got all these pay. They got Quick Pay. You know, all them pays. All of them is to get you away from cash money. Slowly walk you away from cash money.
I bought a TV from a TV shop yesterday. He said I had to have cash.
Boy, look here.
So funny.
Look, you go in the Snooks, the self-checkout. What it say? No cash.
I had to go to an ATM.
No cash. You can check out, but no cash. You can't pay cash here. You got to be straight debit in the checkout. So y'all, we're getting to the point. So that's why he say, be not deceived. You already see iniquity is already being set up. Just get yourself prepared. And he said, at best, if you can have a season set aside, and a season is 3 months. If you could have 3 months of rent, if you could have 3 months of light bill, if he say that's as far as you take it. But people stacking up, and I got a house full of this over here. The mark of the beast come out. You ain't gonna get back to your secret cabin. You think they gonna let you through? Sir, I have a private cabin up here that I'm trying to get you. They go that way. And they're the FEMA camps. Go that way. They're going to be marching out there. You see it coming slow. You can stack up everything else for somebody else that's on the run.
And then by the time you get there, it's gone.
It's gone. So this is what we're talking about, y'all. You got to get this word of God that sustains you. That you don't be hungry while you teaching this word. You hear our hunger goes away till class is over. Then the hunger come back. We're living off the Spirit now. And His word. So that'll get you through. It'll get you through. These commandments will get you through. Moses, that we know of 3 in the Bible. Elijah, Moses, the Messiah. 40 days and 40 nights with no food or water. The standard is you'll die with 2 weeks with no food and 3 days right now with no water. How did they do 40 days and 40 nights? That's 960 hours. The Day of Atonement coming up here shortly in September. And we looking at our clock for 24 hours. Because there's no food and water. Just rock it. Just rock it. Soon as that 24-hour hit, Domino's, yeah. Send 2 Big Mama pizzas and a keg of beer. And that's just 24 hours.
2 Big Mamas, you gonna eat.
And that was 960 hours. Yeah. That's 960 hours of no food or water. And we can't even do 24 yet. What are you saving up for? And you think you're going to run to some wilderness and it's going to be prepared for you? You have to be tried first. Right. We're getting tried right now. Yep. You're seeing everything the days of Noah, Sodom and Gomorrah right before our face. And you still don't understand what's going on. And it's going to hit just like COVID hit. You're going to hear on the news. So the only money you got, Shalom D, the only money you technically got is in your pocket and at home, because the bank's gonna say your account is locked. Right. Your account is locked. You got $1 billion. What they care about? Michael Jordan got $3 billion. If he can't have $3 billion in his house and let somebody know, whatever you got in the bank, just tell them I want to take all that out and put it under the mattress and see what happens. Huh? Well, if it's yours, I'm just saying, do you trust leaving your house with all your wealth under the mattress? Look, you got homeless out here, just a set-up camp on your sidewalk. People just coming in homes now while you on vacation and got a sign in the window, I done bought your house. You like, what? So technically the only money you got is in your pocket. That's why he said a season gets you through. You look at all the fiscal years, they do about 3 month season. They start the new fiscal year at this point. They start hiring again after 3 months. All you need is enough to get through to the next hiring phase or whatever it is. That's what he said. He said, just like the ant, just store up enough. But y'all, that's even hard, because most of us in here got more month than money. And what I mean is just more bills than you're getting paid. And so you have to start cutting corners. Get a hustle on the side. And that's just to live daily. Right. So it's hard to store up 3 months, but you can do it if we cut out a lot of foolishness. Like you want that VCR so bad that you go get it from Rent-A-Center. It's $500. Yeah. And you can go get that same VCR from Walmart for $60, but you can't wait. So you sign that. Guess what they do? On your last payment, come and get it. You late on the last payment.
You buying a VCR from Rent Center nowadays. I got something for you.
Right. What we talking about is patience and virtue, and get your mind in tune for what's coming, y'all. And that's your spirit, because that's the only thing going to be able to deal with this lawless one that's coming. Because he say he going to cause everybody, both great and small, rich and poor, to take the mark of the beast. But he's not going to force it on you. He going to condition it on you. And y'all, a lot of us, even though we suffer a little bit, but ain't no place on earth like this land right here. I'm talking about where you can order some food, or you can eat, as long as you got a pistol or some money, you can eat here. But it's other nations coming across the Rio Grande, children drowning, trying to get here. Where you trying to go?
Right.
This is like Egypt. It's called Egypt. It's Egypt on the back of your dollar. How you being confused to go to some other Egypt?
Right. You don't even speak the language.
Look, Jacob went to Egypt with the 12 tribes, didn't he? When they didn't have no more bread in the land of Canaan, in Jerusalem. They had to go to Egypt to eat. Everybody comes to America to eat. America runs all of the lettuce in Phoenix and some other place in Texas. That's where all your lettuce come from. They control all of the wheat right here. So if you're trying to get out of here, where else you going to go and eat like you eat here? Hell, food stamps, if you don't even work, you get 200. Where you going to get that somewhere else?
Nowhere.
We're not trying to tell you you got to stay in Babylon, but if you talking about it says flee Babylon, that means up here.
Right.
Because if that means flee, literally flee, then what we going to do about the flee scriptures that say flee fornication? How do you do that?
Yeah, you better flee that one.
Where do you go to do that? Man, it's a spot over there in Jordan, man. Ain't no hip swiveling. Ain't no strippers over there. We need to flee fornication and go over there.
I bet you fornication over there.
Boy, look here. Yeah, we know it's there. One more, y'all. We're going to get on out of here.
Then you got the innocent in jail.
Yeah. What we going to do about them? See, your program don't even include letting the people out of jail that's in their own free cases. Been set up by the government. In Egypt, they open all the prison cells up. Pharaoh said, every one of y'all get out of here. I can't leave any one of y'all here, or your Lord gonna keep putting punishment on me. Everybody get out. How do you have a program to flee America and we got people locked in the prison? How do we get them out?
Come on.
And if you say, well, the Lord will take care of them, well, why won't he take care of you then?
Babylon is not a place.
It's a system.
Right.
Everywhere there's an American embassy, that's Babylon. Wherever they have an embassy at, you in Babylon. Because they're affiliated with them. How you gonna go to Israel and they hooked up with America? America give them $5 billion a year and their security. Ain't that crazy? Let's read some more, y'all. Real quick, y'all. Matthew 4, 1 through 4. Y'all, we're gonna give homework on these up. We're just talking about this bread. I want to just hit King David. I want to hit Matthew 4, 1 through 4. Then I'm going to jump down to the Matthew 12, 3 through 8, and that 1 Samuel 21. We'll close on out. And I'll give y'all other homework on our daily bread, because that's what Paul did a lot, y'all. And it ain't hard, y'all. Bread and water will sustain us. Ask people who was put in jail 100 years ago. That's all they fed you. No, you didn't have DoorDash coming to the penitentiary back then. You got some bread
to the
and some water, and you finish your sentence. Yes, sir. A piece of bread and some water every day, and you finish them 30 years. But the bread of life is that simple as well, y'all. We get this word and these commandments because you know what you ain't supposed to do. He said, I'll come and help you. I ain't going to let them do you like that for the mark of the beast. He said, if they do kill you, guess what? It's automatic entrance into the kingdom. So the devil ain't going to never make you take the mark of the beast. You have to take it willingly. If he make you, then you get in the kingdom anyway. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's forcing it on you. He ain't going to force it on you. He just going to make a call. That money you got in the bank is gone. That car you drive, you can't drive that no more on our streets unless you got the mark of the beast. We'll be checking at Goodfellow and Natural Bridge.
I ain't going
Hold your hand out. Yes, ma'am.
You know they're getting something now where they're telling people they have to have a chip in order to do certain things right now.
Well, that volunteering for the chip. You have to understand, is people already putting chips in their hand the size of a grain of rice for convenience. I can just open my door. Well, if these hoodlums around here can get a Hyundai or a Kia, you gonna trust that chip like that?
Right.
Go ahead, let's just read these last two, y'all. We're gonna get on out of here. Matthew 4, 1 through 4.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 1.
Yeah.
Then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit unto the wilderness to be tempted of the devil.
See, look, where is our Messiah, our Redeemer, being led up to?
The wilderness.
In the wilderness. To be tempted of the adversary. Ain't no safe zone in the wilderness. Right. The safe zone is up here, knowing what to do when you get in the wilderness. Right. Now, this the Messiah being led in the wilderness to be done what? That's where the devil going to try to break you at, because that's where the Messiah is trying to prove you at. He's there to try to break you. Let's get some more.
And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered.
Right.
And when the tempter came to him.
Who came to him?
The tempter came to him. He said, if thou be the Son of God, command these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh.
So Christ told the devil what was written, what was law, what we just read, Deuteronomy 8:3. That's how he answered the devil. Resist the devil and he'll flee. Just tell the devil, you get on out of here. You know you lost the battle already. Now go on, do what you gonna do, whatever you gonna do. But go on, do it. But player, you already done lost. You can't tempt me with that. And he'll keep trying. Go ahead. And notice he always come after salvation. After Christ had been in the mount and fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. He came right after Moses, after Noah had passed over the world. 8 souls say, here he come. Noah break his own rules, get high on his own supply, because Noah was a vineyard, and got drunk, and Ham pulled a stunt that he pulled on her, because that's when the devil comes. Soon as you get what's called saved, here come the devil to take that salvation from you. That's his job. He ain't worried about us now. He like, you already got y'all. I'm just waiting for you to get cleaned up so I can really put some dirt on you. And if you don't know how to stop him in his tracks, he gonna steamroll over you. Go ahead, read some more, Zed.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and sitteth him in the pinnacle of the temple, and saith unto him, if thou be the Son of Yahweh, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against the stone.
Now this is the devil quoting scriptures. This is what y'all have to be careful of. The devil know the Bible backwards and forwards. He's the accuser of man. He has to accuse you of breaking God's law. He's not going to give you a free case. God will throw a free case out, just like down here on Judge the Earth. Yeah, how you say you found drugs in the car? He wasn't even in the car. Case dismissed. Same way with the devil. He did it to Eve. First thing he asked, what are the commandments of God? And she told him. What did he say not to do? And she told him. He said, you still want to do what you're not supposed to do? Yeah. And then that's where the trouble comes. So he's trying the Messiah the same way. The same exact way he's trying him. And he beat him back with scripture. What did the Messiah say, Jeb?
Yahushua said unto him, it is written again.
It is what?
It is written again. Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy power. Again the devil taketh him up unto an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and says unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then said Yahushua unto him, get thee hence,
Get
Satan.
thee what?
Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt not worship, thou shalt worship the Most High thy power, and him only shalt thou serve.
And then what the devil do next verse?
And then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him.
You see how the angels come when you get through the test. We got you, player. Boy, that was good. I thought you were going to fall off, but you held fast. It's the same way he had to tell Peter. Man, Peter, Satan has sought to sift you like wheat. But I pray for you that you get through this, because he coming for you, man. Peter was gun-ho, but Peter was more tough in his flesh than in his spirit. And he cut that high priest's ear off to let the Messiah know, but that was tough flesh talk. He said, no, the one you dealing with is supernatural. And he coming to get you, player. I wish he would. I wish he would. He said, before the cock crow, you going to deny me? No, Lord, I'm Peter.
I know who I'm talking
to. I know who I'm talking to. And soon as them people part, wasn't you with him? No. Who? Me? Who? What?
No, I'm lying.
I told you I wasn't with
I told you. They said Peter began to cuss. Look, her old ugly mother.
I told you I wasn't with him.
And then that rooster crowed. And Lord have mercy. Y'all, now they walk with the Messiah. What are we going to do, y'all?
Right.
Unless we get our minds straight.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to just rerun this last one. We're going to close on out. Matthew 12, just 3 through 8, and then 1 Samuel. And we'll close on out.
You definitely got to stay vigilant and diligent in this walk, because we done seen some brothers fall off that was strong.
Boy.
One brother think he a spaceman.
Oh, man. This boy, look here, say he just get out of his body at will.
Yeah.
And just, man, show up somewhere else. Yeah, just, man, stay in outer space. But notice it ain't got nothing to do with who controlling this land. He can't get out of his power enough to take hold of them nuclear warheads. Right. Can't get out of your body enough to stop what's happening to Israel. Right. How you going to get out of your body and stop death? To even your people who you got fooled like that. Stop it when you get out of your body. But that's entertaining to people.
And what y'all talking about?
The witch doctor.
The witch doctor?
Yeah.
Which witch doctor?
The modern day sorcerer.
That's crazy.
Well, I'm just saying it for anybody, because I don't want nobody just pinpoint one body. There's somebody in every city that's doing it.
That's right.
That's leaping out of their body and they're taking hallucinogenics. You will get out of your body, you take the right thing. Some meth will have you way somewhere else, on Mars, looking around and scratching, looking for some more.
You smoke some of that butt naked, you
Boy, look here. Smoke that butt naked, boy, you be in some trouble, won't you?
Out in the street with a gun in your hand, butt naked.
Yeah, like that woman was shooting on the highway. Butt naked.
naked.
Got out of her car, didn't have a stitch on, just started shooting at every car past.
One of them shells would have popped on her, she would have felt it.
Go ahead, let's get this so we can close on out of here. Matthew 12, start at 1.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 1. At that time, Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were in hunger, and began to pluck the ears of corn to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it,
the preachers of that day, the camp leaders, go ahead.
They said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day.
So they're saying his disciples are eating on the Sabbath day, which is lawful, or plucking corn to eat because they're hungry on the Sabbath day. Go ahead.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
But he said unto them, Have ye not read what David did when he was in hunger, and they that were with him? How he entered into the house of God and did eat the showbread.
What did he eat?
The showbread. Which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests.
So he give them one example right there. He says, so since y'all talking law, you fake law men, what about David eating the showbread, which is only for the high priest only? Because no other people outside the high priest and his family could only eat the showbread that's inside the temple. Once that bread got a certain hour, then it was called common bread, and you give it to the rest of the people. Just picture it like Snooks got bread, And when it gets close to the expiration date, they send it to Aldi's.
And they do.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So you're right at the border of expiration at Aldi's, you know. Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
Have ye not read in the law?
In the word?
In the law.
Uh-huh.
How that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless.
So the priests on the Sabbath day, if I can't pluck corn, how were they forgiving sins? Or did the priests stop forgiving sins on the Sabbath day? See, the priests are blameless because they had to sacrifice. People don't stop sinning on the Sabbath.
Nah.
This will get to the point that where you couldn't have a baby on the Sabbath.
Right.
That baby kicking and ready to come out that water breaking. What you gonna do? They breaking the law.
Hold up.
Yeah, hold up, push that baby back up in there and wait till tomorrow. See, it started to get crazy, but they was just had men out of control, and that's why the Messiah had to come to clean all that up. They were burdening people and making the law like a bird. The law is holy and just, like Paul say. He said, if it hadn't been for the law, how am I know what lust is?
There you go.
Unless the Bible broke it down for me. Go ahead, what else you say,
this sound like charity to me.
Boy, look here. Look, because the law say you can pluck the corn, but you can't put nothing in your pocket.
Right.
So if you hungry and you walking down the road, you see a cornfield, you can just take one, strip it, and start eating it. But if you start doing like this, what is that called?
Steal.
See, so you can't. That would be breaking the law. Proverbs 6:20, what it say? If a thief steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry,
Right.
do not despise him. You can't holler, get your hungry, get away from me, you hungry. You can't do that to him. But it don't allow for that if he's on your property. It said when he get on his feet, he must bring 7 pieces of corn back to let you know I was in dire straits. What's better, the life or the corn? Which one is great? See, so y'all, that's what we have to understand. But these camps are running that Sabbath game on you. They won't even let you turn on the lights.
One person say you can't even eat.
You can't.
Like,
Look here.
Of course, you know it don't kindle a fire.
Right.
But if the fire is already kindled from before, then you can still cook on that fire.
Yeah, you can.
But now I heard the dude say, man, you can't even eat on the Sabbath. I'm like, all right, dog.
He
right
need
on.
to get away from whoever he learned.
So forced
Exactly.
fasting 1 day a week.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a feast day. That's what the Sabbath called.
But
Feast
you can't
day
eat.
you can't eat.
Yeah, because you can't cook, you can't eat. No, dog, y'all crazy.
Feast day, but no feasting.
You can't cook no food.
And it don't say you can't cook. It say you can't kindle a fire.
That's why I say whatever scripture they give you, be it and observe, check it out, but don't do as they do.
No.
Go ahead.
The brother we used to deal with said you can't be with your wife on the Sabbath.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look, that's crazy. You can't be fruitful and multiply. How many days is the honeymoon? 7. How many days?
Yeah.
So does it say save the Sabbath on the
Skip
honeymoon?
the Sabbath to get you an extra day in after the Sabbath.
But it don't make sense, y'all. It ain't a scripture in there that the wedding feast ain't 7 days. Jacob did 7 days. Samson and Judges 14 days. The feast was 7 days, and also Tobit in the book of Tobit. 7-day feast. And some went 2 weeks if they did. But he said, give her week. Talking about Leah when she got in there, he tricked her and said it was Rachel, but it was Leah. He said, you got to first give her week. Week! How many days in a week?
7.
And what you going to do? Pleasure her? That's what the script say. Pleasure, a man couldn't go to war for a year after he got married. So did he pleasures his wife up. Adam was put in the garden on the Sabbath day. The 6th day he was created, he was put in the garden on the 7th day and told to be fruitful and multiply. He was born in the Sabbath day. Work still can be done. He was still tilling the earth. He didn't get thrown out till he tripped. It don't make sense, y'all. If they want the control of men and control your household, boy, they'll have you to the point you won't budge. You'll sit there and freeze to death.
Right.
Won't turn up the thermostat. No, that's killing the fire. We got the teeth be chattering like a crap game.
But the pilot already lit.
Boy,
Yeah. baby sitting already pampered full of.
Boy, look here. Can't change the baby pamper. It's loaded up like a rack of pool balls.
Yeah, like to see the one
don't
who
you
does
change,
that on
just
the
horse flies flying around that baby. Don't change that diaper.
Baby walking.
Boy, look here, dragging the floor. Boy,
got it caught on the nail, ripped the back off that floor.
Go ahead, bro. Let's finish this out so we can get out of here. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice. Ye would not have condemned the guilty.
You would not have done what?
Condemned the guilty. For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath.
The Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath day.
That's right.
See, this is what we got to understand. Messiah is Lord. These high priests and triple high priests is becoming Lord of the Sabbath day. But I guarantee you they eating. Because you can't be where they at. They eating good on the Sabbath. They doing everything. And then most of the ones who trying to dictate the Sabbath to you been off all week anyway.
Yeah.
They resting from resting. 1 Samuel 21, y'all. And this just, we're going to close on out. This is about the showbread. Because, see, you have to put back on them what already existed under law. If somebody accused you of breaking the law, you have to show them where the Most High had mercy. And he had mercy on a soul before he'll let it starve to death. He ain't gonna make no rules that where you have to starve to death. That's why we have to get prepared. He gave us manna bread in the wilderness, didn't he? Why we worried about the mark of the beast and why we gonna eat? He said, I clothe the field. We'll get this last one, we're gonna close on out.
Where you gonna start at?
Right where Samuel ate the showbread. Y'all hitting on our dress? Okay, all right.
All right, 1 Samuel chapter 21, verse 1.
And this will back up what David did.
It says, Then came David to Nob, to Ahimelech, the priest. And Ahimelech was afraid at the meeting of David, and said unto him, Why art thou alone, and no man with thee? And David said unto Ahimelech the priest, The king hath commanded me a business, and hath said unto me, Let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send thee, and what I have commanded thee. And I have appointed my servant to such and such a place. Now therefore, what is under thine hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread in my hand, or what there is present.
So how many loaves the Messiah always deal with them? How many loaves? 5 loaves, 2 fishes. Go ahead.
And the priest answered David and said, There is no common bread under mine hand, but there is hallowed bread. If the young men have kept themselves at least from women.
See, this was the only prerequisite before you die. This is the only thing. You sure? Because we can't eat this, because if they have been with women, they still may have not washed themselves and got man stuff on them, which is dried blood. So you can't take holy and defile holy. So he said at least 3 days. I know they should took a bath in 3 days. Now if you got the same drawers on after 3 days, that's a problem.
They sticking to me.
Boy, look here, you talking about crusty and rusty. Go ahead.
You start walking funny.
Verse 5. And David answered the priest and said unto him, Of a truth, women have been kept from us about these 3 days, since I came out, and the vessels of the young men are holy.
And the what of the young men?
The vessels.
What vessels do y'all think that's talking about?
The body.
Of the young men.
The body.
Yeah, the body somewhere. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And the bread is in a manner common. Yeah, though it were sanctified this day in the vessel. So the priest gave him hallowed bread.
What the priest do?
Gave him hallowed bread. For there was no bread there but the showbread that was taken from before the Lord, to put hot bread in the day when it was taken away. Now a certain man of the servants of Saul was there that day, detained before the Lord. and his name was Doeg.
What was his name?
Doeg.
What was Doeg?
And Edomite. The chiefest of the herdsmen that belonged to Saul.
So when you're talking about ain't nobody supposed to be around Israel, what is this Edomite doing next to the holy priest, being his servant?
Right.
This is a problem. That's what David said. Like Doeg was up there. He the high priest. I mean, he up there. He a servant for the high priest. He watching him. How do you have an Edomite there with all this camp talk? You know what I'm saying? That ain't nobody else be around. This is Doeg the Edomite around our high priest garden. Do that make sense? No. See, it don't make sense for you to say that ain't never happened in Israel. I need some explanation, or we all need some explanation on what the hell is Doeg the Edomite doing there confronting David about anything. Go ahead, what else to say?
Verse 8.
Yeah.
And David said unto Ahimelech, and is there not here under thine hand spear or sword? For I have neither brought my sword nor my weapons with me, because the king's business required haste. And the priest said, the sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom thou slewest in the valley of Elah, behold, it is here wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod. If thou wilt take that, take it, for there is no other save that here. And David said, there is none like that, give it me.
Hold it right there. So that's all I wanted to do, but right there in 22 and 9.
You want me to read that?
Yeah, so you can once again see what Doeg, who Doeg the Edomite was. Go ahead.
Then answered Doeg the Edomite, which was set over the servants of Saul, and said, I saw the son of Jesse coming to Nob, to Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub.
Now, Doeg is telling on David. I saw the son of Jesse. He's snitching.
And he over the servants.
And he over the servants of Saul. How is this possible?
Oh, that's an Israelite that don't know he is.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Yeah. He thinking. But y'all understand what it's saying? This is a servant of Esau. I mean, this is Esau over all of King Saul's servant, and he's ratting on David. He telling Saul, I saw him, man. He was over there to the priest of Amalek. Would y'all read a little bit more of that? And David said, yeah, I saw him over there. Lousy mother, then snitched me out to King Saul. But this is what I'm saying again. He's over the servant. How is that not legal? Or what I'm saying is, why is it not illegal for him to be standing there? You know why it's not illegal? Because you know what Uriah the Hittite role was? He was one of David's 13 top men that guarded his bed when he was asleep. Uriah the Hittite stood there every night and watched David sleep and gave his life, and David took his woman. And he was punished for what he did to that Hamite. Uriah the Hittite. He was punished for that. You gonna kill your man that's been watching your bed all night? Right. This man was so loyal. David told him, man, go home and be with your wife. No, not when the king is man, I'm a soldier. I ain't got time for hip swiveling. Right. I gotta watch out for you.
Yeah,
slept outside his door. And he's a Hittite. So when you start hearing all that talk, ain't no stranger supposed to be around, make them answer these questions.
Right.
And his Old Testament, yes sir.
All his Old Testament.
So y'all read the rest of that and y'all see what David said. He ratted me out. We're going to give a little homework, y'all. We had to answer some questions a little bit earlier. John 17:9, you'll see when the Lord say, I don't pray for everybody. I just pray for them that's in the covenant. Like when they say he gave his son to the world, you have to understand it's the world of this covenant, that everybody on there. But John 17:9 tell you I don't pray for them. I don't pray for the world. I pray for those that thou hast given me. And Exodus 16:4, you'll see about the manna bread. And Acts 2:42, you'll see Paul breaking bread. Once again, he broke bread when he left Troas, I believe. That's Acts 20:11. And then the kicker is 1 Corinthians 10:16 and 17. It'll tell you about that breaking of bread. Y'all breaking the bread. When we break this bread, it can't be a Muslim on this piece and you break a bread and it be a Egyptology on that part of the bread. The bread is all got the same ingredients in it. the commandments of God. If it don't like that, you can't break bread with them.
No.
It don't mean they can't be your friend. Hell, we all got Muslim friends. We got Israelites got Muslim names.
Right.
But you can't go into what's called fellowship with them. We can't go into their assembly hall and open up the Quran with them. Yes, brother, there is some interesting writings in here.
I'm just trying to get some
You
understanding.
can't go into fellowship with them. They can be your friends, but you can't go into worship with them. This is the only book, it's the only one on earth that has prophecies in it. No other book deals with prophecy. Discipline, stand up straight, stretch your back out. Salute. Now all that, yeah, you find them in them other books, but you won't find prophecy in here. I mean, this is the only book you will find prophecy in. I should say that. You won't find prophecy in their book. And there has never been a failed prophecy anywhere, or this still would be the bestseller still to this day. Ain't never been revised. The law ain't never been revised. You may have an NIV version, or you may have a new American version. All you have to do is go to Exodus 20 in any version. If the law changed, that's a bad version. Because the law is holy and just, and it's the only thing that will be judged by. When you stand on judgment day, everything you've done will be poured out. And if you talk to anybody that had a near-death experience, drowning, they say their life flashed before them. Ask them, was any good thing flashed before you, or was it all the bad? And it's usually all the bad. I saw when I snatched Miss Johnson's purse. I saw when I stole them hubcaps. I saw when I was over here. And all that flashed before your face to let you know you at judgment day. And if you wake up or cough up water from almost drowning, then you get to start your life over, because you just had a glimpse of what judgment day was going to be like. It just ran across your face like that. Everything bad you did. You ever heard anybody say, well, I had a near-death experience and then I saw myself at the kingdom and I saw myself, me and Christ was hanging out with Lazarus and Abraham? No. Have you ever heard that? No, you don't even hear I saw myself graduate. You see why you getting a second chance. Now go back and get it right. Y'all understand? We can close out, y'all. Can we say amen?
Yes, sir.
Anything out there too bad? All praises to the Most High. No, we just vessels is passing through. We get to the King.
All right, family. We're going to get this closing prayer, and it is with the Most High's permission, and it's in the name of His only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior and our Redeemer.
Yes, sir.
Yahushua HaMashiach.
Yes, sir.
But we know Him as Jesus the Christ.
Yes, sir.
Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 111th chapter, it reads, Praise ye the Lord.
Yes.
I will praise the Most High with my whole heart.
Yes, sir.
In the assembly of the upright and in the congregation.
Yes.
The works of the Most High are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein. His work is honorable and glorious.
Yes, sir.
And His righteousness endureth forever. He hath made His wonderful works to be remembered. Yahweh is gracious and full of compassion.
Yes, sir.
He hath given meat unto them that fear Him. He will ever be mindful of His covenant.
Yes, sir.
He hath showed His people the power of His works, that He may give them the heritage of the heathen. The works of His hands are verity and judgment. All His commandments are sure.
Yes, sir.
They stand fast forever and ever, and are done in truth and uprightness. He sent redemption unto His people. He hath commanded His covenant forever.
Yes, sir.
Holy and reverent is His name.
Yes, sir.
The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do His commandments. His praise endureth forever.
Hallelujah! Say
Yes, sir. If y'all got a shekel or two, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you, one family out there, for all y'all support of the radio station and the ministry. Thank y'all so much. John, you feeling good, boy? Boy, ain't nothing like it is, boy, huh?
Nothing like it, boy, twice a day.
Boy, when you can look back and flush that toilet, boy, and see it disappear.
Hey, when you give them the house money party, when you give them the house money?